Everybody, it's Tuesday, February. It's February now. It's February 7th.
Oh, them shits.
It's right. We're in the second month now. I might actually have to bleep that one because it's. Was that the first? No, we might be in the first minute. We are in the grace period of cussing. It's cussing season on top of cuffing season. That's right. I'm cussing all over the place. Hey, is it bad to say cuss? Also, is saying cuss as bad as saying like fuck?
What? No.
No?
What?
I don't know.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
No, they got that in the dictionary, man. You're good.
Welcome to the giant bombcast. We're cussing all over the place.
Dictionary, however, that you can't say that.
Merriam-Webster's banging down your door as they speak.
Yeah.
Miriam, calm down, please. Episode 775. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa. The only reason why I have to hold the hey in the beginning is because I panically and never save my Go XLR preset, so I'm scrambling to turn the music down in my heads. Today is February 7th, 2023. Co-captain of the ship is always here, wearing a very captain-y hat. Jeff Grubb.
Howdy, that's my Rocky hat, my Rocky 4 hat that Paulie wears. I am Mike Tyson's Punch-Out professional. I'm going to do a run this week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get on the leaderboard. So look out for that, everybody.
There we go.
It's happening.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Joining us today... We've had, since Bacalar is feeling under the weather slightly, I had to line up the homies. I had to get the homies. I stood outside and went, ooh, woo! And then I heard all the way in the East Coast, Jesse Vitelli of Prima Games yelling back, ooh, woo!
Ooh, woo.
And then,
Gabba goo woo!
Gabba goo woo!
And that's finally, we got some Italian representation in here.
Finally.
That's right. And then I poured a bottle of soy sauce and vinegar into a pot. I shook it around, and then I poured it into a bottle of Hennessy, and then I just slowly poured that down. And then
That sounds disgusting.
And out of that formation of liquids appeared in a puff of smoke, Michael Higham.
Hey, that's how you can conjure me up. Soy sauce, vinegar, Hennessy adobo. Damn, that sounds... You ever had Henny wings?
No.
Ever had Henny adobo wings?
No.
That's
Have
how
you ever had anything?
Sorry. There we go, Grubb.
Sorry.
No. Grubb would fit in. Grubb and Jesse would fit in perfectly at the Filipino family barbecue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We would.
I know that.
We would force Grubb to no, you have to cut open the pig. You got to do it.
Yeah. Well, all right. I definitely know what I'm doing. So that's going to go really well for everybody. Yes, I would participate. I would partake.
How good are you with eating with your hands?
Very, very good. I've really taken it up recently as I've really grown to hate doing dishes of all kinds. So
let's go. Hey, we can invite Grubb to the Kamayan.
Yeah, there we go. Jesse, please. How do you feel? Okay. As my Italian brother, I'm honorary Italian. I've won this privilege.
I've given it to you, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do you feel if we were to add, I don't know, banana ketchup to spaghetti?
I'd be willing to try it. I'd try anything once. I'd rather you do banana ketchup than regular ketchup. I think that's like a true sin. Banana ketchup, at least we got some flavor going on. We got something cooking here.
Yeah.
I like banana ketchup, so I'm all for it.
Hey, look at this ally over here.
I'm an ally, don't worry. I got y'all.
That's right. Grubb is riding the roast pig to the church as we speak, while Jesse's just juggling jugs of banana ketchup.
Sounds like an episode of Black Mirror, but count me in, yeah.
There we go. Gentlemen, how's it going? It's almost Valentine's, and I realize, I've messed up already.
Oh. Do you know who I'm spending my Valentine's Day with?
Blessing?
100 flowers.
No, I'm spending it with Jesse.
I'm sleeping on my couch on Valentine's.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
Oh, that's romantic, boys. I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little time.
Yeah, this is a little pregame to that. We got to build up
go bowling or what? What are you guys gonna do? How you guys gonna spend each other's time?
Karaoke.
Yeah, we're going karaoke.
That's
We're going
beautiful,
karaoke.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, all
A
right.
beautiful duet.
Grub, what is? I need to know what is your go-to karaoke song if you have one.
I mean, look at me. It's "Mother" by Danzig. Of course it is. Like Jesus. Like, did you even have to ask? Here's what I have to ask. How are you boys holding up after hearing that? Arnel Pineda was at Mar-a-Lago raising money. You guys doing okay?
What? Wait, whoa.
No.
You guys doing okay?
Not enough.
Like I was worried about you when I saw the news. I'm like, oh no, my boys. Oh, it's all gone. It's all gone wrong. It's all gone down. That's the lead singer for Journey. For anybody.
Yeah. Wait.
Breaking
What?
news.
I mean, we could Google it, but I like that's the story. He just
I mean, you're the newsman. You're the newsman. You know.
Insider Burger King, Insider Video Games, Insider Journey.
Yeah.
Triple threat.
Exactly. So I mean, how does that make you feel? Because it doesn't make me feel good.
Isn't he? Oh man. Wow. You hate to see it.
That's like seeing like one of your favorite cousins just like
Fumble the bag.
Yeah, you're at like a Filipino garage party and he starts talking about QAnon.
Oh, okay. I was about to say like
lost them.
Like be careful. There's some actual uncles out there.
Hey, yeah. Oh, let me tell you about problematic Filipino uncles.
Please.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
You gotta get a few red horses down. You in the garage. You're gonna hear some shit. So, damn. But I thought Kuya Arnel was one of us. Hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Oh man.
I'm so sorry, boys. I'm so sorry.
Well, now I'm going to stop believing. Oh, damn.
God damn it.
Something like brainworms or something, you know? God, Jesus. Oh, my God. You know what, Winship? I am your uncle now. It's fine. It's okay.
This affects me as an Italian, though, because they use the Journey song in The Sopranos at the end. So, you know, I'm devastated right now.
And as a Red Wings fan, at the end of every Red Wings win, they play, don't like the one where it's like, born and raised in South Detroit, and everyone sings along with that. So this gets me, too. I mean, listen, we're all catching strays here, all right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I am so disappointed in you, Arnel.
Yeah.
And what?
I have to pull him aside and be like, listen, brother.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that shit.
Listen, Pare. I'm devastated now. I guess let's talk about video games. Oh, wait. There we go.
There it is.
I think I was just talking about Journey last week also, and how much I love them. Now, not anymore.
Jail.
It's a lot of ups and downs here. A lot of ups and downs when it comes to Journey.
Jail. Yeah, exactly. Just straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Just like when you go straight to jail. Actually, Michael, since you're back on the pod, this isn't on the run of show here, but you brought up two games. Last time you were on. Was it last week? Oh, wow. Last week when you were on.
Maybe.
A Space for the Unbound.
Yes, sir.
I wound up checking this game out, and holy smokes.
Did you finish it?
I did not finish it. I got what I assume is halfway through.
Okay.
And Michael was no joke. It was tugging at the heartstrings, in such a way that I was not expecting and not ready for. Also, shouts out to the Steam Deck for delivering amazing gaming experiences on the go.
Oh, yeah, especially it can get real intimate, right? When it's in there up close and those speakers are flying right at your face. It's like pretty intimate stuff.
Yeah, especially like when you're waiting in a car for your significant other to get out of work and you're just like, come on, I need to go. But you're just playing the game. And then as you're playing the game, for folks that missed last week's episode of Space for the Unbound, Michael, would you say it's like a 2D
adventure game?
Adventure game.
With a few mini games sprinkled here and there, so they throw in a few gimmicks that are fun to mix things up, but it's mostly an adventure, a lot of text to read, conversations, dialogue, and that takes place in Indonesia. So shouts out to our folks.
There were
the neighboring islands.
There were a couple of times as I was playing through the game and just running through, because you're primarily playing through Atma, one of the main characters, and just running around as him throughout these different scenarios. And kind of like a Psychonaut style, you are jumping into people's heads and, like Michael said, doing a little mini games to try and solve their little issues to help you progress through the story. all of this winds up totally mattering at the end as you progress further down the line. But one of the things that's super dope about this game, as I was playing this game and just seeing all the NPCs, all the background characters, because this game is set in Indonesia, I'd be like, oh, yo, that person looks like my uncle. Oh, yo, I know that person. Oh, yo, are you Arnel Pineda? Oh, no. Why?
Let me whip
Arnel?
out my red book. I'll whip out my red book, get into your mind, and try and
Let me
fix you up a little bit. Fix
a
you a little bit. Kuya.
God, and I forget the game. It came out maybe 2-3 years ago. It also took place in Southeast Asia. It was like a beat 'em up brawler.
Indivisible.
So
Yeah, I reviewed that for GameSpot.
that was another great game that took place in Southeast Asia. Had a she could be Indonesian influenced main character. And
Ajna. I think
Ajna. Thai?
No, I think she's I don't think they say outright, but she's vaguely like Indonesian, Malaysian, Filipino. She could be any of those things, to be honest.
Any of the brown, it's good to get down. And yeah, if you're looking to cry or be emotional, definitely I think this transcends the Indonesian setting that it takes place in and really captures. Michael, you said last week the willingness to let go of people. I also think it reinforces if you have a strong connection with a significant other, you have like one specific really best friend that you think of as a thought partner, not a THOT partner, but a thought partner with your brain. I think it'll really enforce and really strengthen that relationship you may have with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, you ain't seen nothing yet from that game. But I think the halfway through, you kind of start to see how everyone struggles with identity. Everyone struggles with how they perceive themselves and how they want other people to see them. And I think when you jump into these mind palaces, it breaks those things down in a very digestible way. So not only is it like this game mechanic where you're learning more about the people who embody the small town, but there are little bits and pieces of story moments where you look at it and be like, I guess, people always do put up a front, and kind of breaking down those walls to really get to helping solve the problems at hand. But you need I hope you stick through the rest of the game, because
I think I might, and it's kind of wild. Like it's February now, and I think there are already two very strong contenders for Game of the Year already, like A Space for the Unbound for me personally, and then Hi-Fi Rush. Grub, you messaged, speaking about Hi-Fi Rush, Mr. Grub, you finished it.
Yes, I finished it, which is why I'm getting back into Fire Emblem Engage, so I could talk about that as well. But I am looking for other games, especially to play on the Steam Deck. And it's like, okay, it's good to hear the Space for the Unbound. I'm like, okay, good. It plays well in there. I'll load it up on there. But yeah, I finished Hi-Fi Rush. I streamed some of it. Then I kind of completed the last couple of hours on my Steam Deck, and it just keeps getting better through the end of the game. Yeah. The big things are the combat continues to be really fun. You get better at it just because you are getting more into the rhythm. The songs continue they kind of get better too, so you like are really feeling it. I'm gonna spoil one of the songs. I think this. They play Perfect Drug by 9 Inch Nails.
Oh my God.
Honestly, this is the kind of spoiler that should make you like really excited. And once you hear it, you're like, man, this is popping off. So I think it's only going to make you enjoy it more. So, but sorry if that really, got you. It was incredible. When that moment begins and you start to feel it, and it all just comes together, and your toes tapping, your head's bopping, and you're like, okay, I have this arsenal of combos now that I've learned throughout this game, and I'm just going to unleash everything on these fights. It's all going to come out right here. I'm going to use every single little bit, and the fight gives you the opportunity to do that while still being mechanically interesting in some ways. And yeah, it's so cool. And then the characters are fantastic. They are so much fun. Everything is so well written. Each character stands in their own sort of light in terms of having their own perspective, and all of that is reflected off of how they feel about your player character, Achai, who is just a dipshit in a really fun way.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, you're a dumbass, but it works out, so we're gonna keep going along with you, and that's really fun. And then when he starts putting his plans in action, everyone's like, I guess it always works. We should just listen to him. It's just really is super duper easygoing, and yet you get really attached to them. And then when everyone starts to come in around to this character, you're coming around to him. You're on the same side as everyone else who thinks he's a dipshit. And they're all they're so cute. They're so nice.
Yeah.
They have so much good emotion. It really kind of blew me away how well they pulled up every single aspect of the game. The one like shortcoming for it is the platforming is a little squirrely for me. It didn't really cause any huge issues because I was just like, oh, okay, well, I missed the jump. It's a small little penalty. I have to go back like one jump. I'll do that jump again. We'll move on from it. So not really going to hurt it, but it is like it didn't feel as good as it could have. But other than that, just a great game, a completely standout game.
Sick.
I'm going to be remembering this one for a long time, man. Yeah, some of the needle drops that they have in that game, like the Prodigy. Fuck, that's got to be. You know what? I'm already saying it's gonna be a lock for top 3 moments of the year. When there's, I think it's like this 10th stage. It's pretty late in the game, but they drop the song called "Invaders Must Die" by the Prodigy, which I haven't heard in like 10 years.
Yeah.
But the way it layers onto like with the cutscene, it layers onto the bass line, kind of the backbeat, and then when the combat starts rolling, the song starts fucking blasting. Oh my god! Dog. I mean, Higham, invincible.
Yes, you agree that Jan has to play this game, right?
Yes.
I think that Jan would just totally. I messaged him like, "Yo, I think you have to play this. These characters are going to be so your thing." I mean, that's right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't played it. Like, yeah, this seems like such a like you game, Jan.
Yeah, I blame I blame all of game development and game publishing. It's all their fault.
Oh yeah,
it's all their fault.
What?
Totally
yeah,
valid.
That's right.
Tell us how you really feel.
Take that.
Gamers rise up. Absolutely.
Exactly. All the homies that like Pop Agenda, Pop. It's all your fault. You guys are too
Calling
nice.
you out, Jen.
Exactly. Too nice. Just kidding. I love all you. I love you. It's just too many games coming out, but we're in like that slow period right now that I might boost up
like a week. Yeah,
for a week
or two, maybe. Yeah.
And then fire up some Hi-Fi Rush. I did look up the characters you two, Grub and Michael, were saying that I'd be interested in, and Grub called it. Yeah.
Corsica,
yeah.
Yeah,
Not even a question.
Yeah.
Corsica.
Not even a question,
sir.
Yo, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna. We're talking about we're talking about ratios in the mic check, good ratios. I'm not trying to get
ratios in nature. Yes, absolutely.
I'm not trying to get a ratio right now. Speaking about music, Jesse and Michael, gentlemen, my boys, you two have been playing. I never remember how to actually pronounce this. Jesse, what is this game called?
Theatrhythm.
Some people call it like Theatrhythm. I just call it Theatrhythm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Final bar line, gentlemen. This is the Final Fantasy music game?
Yeah,
it is.
Jesse, you're a theater boy. You should you take this one away.
Yeah. So I've never played one of these games before, and this was the one where I was like, all right, we're gonna get in. They released a demo. It has like 30 songs in it, and you can play music from in the demo. It's like 13, Final Fantasy 13, 14, 15, 2, 5, and 7. And I don't know why they picked those. I mean, all the music is incredible, but like it is a rhythm game, but you are also making a party and then equipping that party with spells and different attacks. And like healing that will help you like progress through the song. And just like any rhythm game, there's difficulties and all sorts of stuff, but it really comes together when you're just like rolling through like Final Fantasy 7 enemies and like the main theme, but you've got like Ishtola from Final Fantasy 14, Noctis from Final Fantasy 15, like Red 9 or Red 13, whatever. 13. Red 9's the handgun from Resident Evil 4. Sorry.
Wait, they're not in it?
Like,
damn.
that'd be kind of sick. You got Leon in there. And you're just like rolling through with this like cast of characters that you like, and they're all like got these like cute little animated versions of themselves, and they level up. You get loot, like you get like magical cards and memories and cutscenes and all sorts of stuff that you can watch, and like these battles are like going on as the rhythm game is sort of going on. So it's like you're doing the rhythm stuff and then you're watching your characters like beat Final Fantasy enemies and get to bosses, and there's like an optional objective for every level, and you're just like bopping along to the song. The intro's got like a sick ska riff going on.
Ooh.
We got some Final Fantasy ska music in here, and it's banging.
I almost teared up watching the intro because it is really cute because they show you like the puppeteer style of the character models that you see when you play a song, but it's a love letter to Final Fantasy. So you see like clips and references to the entire franchise, and then it has this big band / ska cover of the Final Fantasy theme. And I was just like, man, I fucking love Final Fantasy, man.
The demo lets you, every time you complete like 3 or 4 stages or like attempts, the game will like make you look at like the demo, make you look at like a booklet of like, okay, here's what's in the full game. It makes you look at it every time, and then there's like a view video option to watch like the video again. I just watch it every time, regardless of what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, let's roll it again. Let's roll it again. It's like a 6-minute video, but just keep it going.
Yeah, it's really good.
I heard the game lets you play as Zack Fair. Is that true?
Oh, yes.
I hope not.
I heard you could play as Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy V and Kane Highwind from Final Fantasy. I'm just reading. I'm reading the wiki, the giant.
I like
wiki.
to imagine you have like someone like in your earpiece that's just like it's
Marino.
We're hearing that Gilgamesh is here.
I'm hearing that Krill Meyer Baldezion is a playable character.
Kyle Baldezion.
Kryle's in this game, dog.
Kryle. Get out, fuck out of here, Kryle.
You don't know Kryle Baldezion?
I do not know Kryle. No, I'm a man.
Shouts out to the students.
The students of the Baldezion.
Yeah, students of the Baldezion.
I just read Titus and Una as one word, and I read it as tuna. So that's where we're at right now.
That's their ship name.
That's their ship. Of course, yes.
The game will also have DLC that has like a bunch of other Square properties in it too. So it'll have like Nier and Saga, some Chrono Cross music. They got some stuff in that first wave of DLC. So if you want to buy like the $100 edition that comes with like all of the DLC, I guess you could do that. But
oh my god,
these Final Fantasy 14 names are whack. Alpha Nod Levelier, Fangcred Waters, Yeshtola Ryul, Yida Hext.
Oh,
that was flawless. Come on.
I could listen to you read Final Fantasy 14 names for the entire podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
Read the name that starts with a U.
I don't see one that starts with a U here. There's Alpha Nod Levelier, Fangcred Waters.
You're like actively stabbing Higham and Vitelli.
I love to audibly cause pain. Absolutely.
Urianger is not in that game.
Oh, they don't have Urianger?
No, Urianger is not in there.
Damn.
Oh, is that the U name? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just read that as
Urianger.
Yeah. I just read that as U Ranger. I'm like, oh, cool, sick. There's a Power Ranger in this game. Don't worry, gentlemen. One day I'll get into Final Fantasy 14. One day.
The Golden State Warriors of Light.
Oh, that sounds great.
Hey.
I want that. I want that.
Hey, we from the Bay Area. Ooh.
I think part of the reason that I don't want to continue playing Final Fantasy 14 is because for an extra life goal, I said I'd start playing and that someone could name my character, and then my characters wound up being named Ligma something. So.
Ligma Grundle.
Ligma Grundle. Yes, that's right.
I believe the other day I was trying to remember the word Grundle. I was like struggling. I was like, well, there's the thing when you stretch your legs and it's the place below your things. Grundle. Okay, there we go.
Jeff Grundle.
I'm like legit excited you said Grundle because I was trying to remember the word Grundle so hard. It's a good show.
Bless you.
Eyes the Grundles.
Bless you in your heart, Jeff Grubb. Just like Michael and his Valiant Heart, because you've been playing Valiant Hearts Coming Home.
Yeah, Valiant Hearts Coming Home is a surprise because I don't know if folks remember Valiant Hearts from 2014.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's I didn't even realize this sequel had come out till like yesterday. So it's like, folks that don't remember, it's a side scroller that has this really painterly art style. It takes place in World War I, and it tells individual stories of these characters in World War I. So that was kind of the novelty of it, and it had like I said, the art style it's really nice. Like, it really stands out. I think it was published by Ubisoft, and it was a nice little short story, little vignettes of World War I. That really got you in your feelings, and I really liked it. I enjoyed it back in the day. I didn't expect it to get a sequel, but it was shown off or it was announced not too long ago, I don't think. But it's available on phones. I play on my phone through, and you can get it through, if you have a Netflix subscription, you can access it that way. So I just like download it from the App Store, logged into my Netflix, and boom, I got the game. It's not that long. I haven't finished it. I only played it for like an hour, but Valiant Hearts Coming Home, I think y'all should check it out. It's nice. It's brutal because it is World War One, and you kind of see how violent and gruesome World War One was. But I think it has a lot of heart in it, and this one takes it's kind of continuation of the story that was told in the first one. But you don't necessarily need any background with the first game to jump into this one. And you can, I mean, World War One. There's not really a spoiler with World War One. You know how that goes. But it's really cool. It's the same thing where it's a side scroller with little puzzles here and there. Nothing too complicated. The gameplay isn't necessarily groundbreaking or anything, but I think it's a nice vehicle to show these personal stories in the context of World War One. And you play as some new characters. Freddy, who's kind of the first character you meet, or James. I can't remember what his name was in the beginning, but there's it brings in America in World War One, because I don't, if I remember correctly, the first game didn't touch on America entering World War One, which was pretty late in the war in history. So. And then 1917, I think it was late 1917, America got involved, and then so you have an American character and bring in his perspective with things, and it showcases, like in the beginning, it showcases some of the troubles back home with, like, it shows like, you know, 360 black people in America signed up for the war, and we're still subject to segregation, and you see a lot of that in like the background images and how the characters treat you. Like, whites go here, black people go here, and it's kind of like this weird, sobering thing. Like, yeah, I guess folks who know their history know that black soldiers were treated differently in like all these World War One, World War Two, Vietnam War, and it uses some of that history, some of that context in its storytelling, and I think that that's really important. And so it is doing some new things with its storytelling, and I think that stuff is kind of powerful in a way that other war story games don't touch. So yeah, shouts out to Valiant Hearts Coming Home. Check it out. It's short. It's only like 3 hours, I think. But yeah, it's a nice, neat little side scroller with an emotional story, wars and stuff. Shit's wild, man.
Shit is wild. Just like that the most natural game to pivot to after something serious like Valiant Hearts Coming Home is SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, because SpongeBob really got himself into a pickle this time and has to go save virtually all of Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake. Grub, you tweeted, I think it was yesterday, that we're kind of in I don't want to say a mess, but like a flood of licensed games, and that for the foreseeable future, it's a lot of licensed games from here on out.
Yeah, especially on for the bigger ones. The bigger games are all becoming licensed games now, yeah.
And I distinctly remember on the PS1, there was a SpongeBob game that was outright terrible. It was maybe one of the worst games I'd played, and I think it was one of the first times as a fledgling gamer that I realized, oh, games can be bad, huh? This can be a waste of money. And then that trend continues with other licensed games, right? Sometimes it's just like a mobile whatever that you download and just wants your email address, and then you continue getting emails about a movie that you've never seen for like 8 years. But anyway, SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, I'm happy to report, is a fun SpongeBob game. It's if you are a fan of the series, it may be too simple of a game to get into, but if you are a parent perhaps and want to introduce your young one to a little bit more complex elements of gaming like platforming and puzzle solving, I definitely recommend that. It has all of the voice cast from the show. And there's moments where I guffawed and I laughed and was like, SpongeBob still got it. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Still got it. Specifically, there's a moment really, really early in the game. If you've never seen SpongeBob, I'm sorry. What's wrong with you? you know, when a passage of time goes by, they'll go like 1 hour later. Here they just did 1 loading screen later, and I died. I was decking and driving, and then I was like, I'm gonna put this down and start driving properly. But it's great. So, you know, if you're looking to if you want to have a guilt-free gift to a young relative, perhaps a niece, nephew, or whoever, or your son, daughter, whoever, maybe check this out. It's fun times. Just like the fun times that Jeff Grubb is having before he has to skedaddle real quick. Fire Emblem Engage.
Yeah, I got back to that, and I'm really happy I did. It's I'm like trying to suss out like the proper sort of arc with the characters, because they're giving me a lot of people in my army, and I also want to keep using some of the earlier characters I got because I like some of them. Specifically, I really like Chloe. She's like riding one of those dragons, those wyverns. I'm like, yeah, I want to use Chloe, or Chloe, I think is actually, because there's a little accent there on the E. But she's not like automatically included when I start a map. They're like, oh, here are the people we're going to give to you. I don't know if it's recommended, but here's what we're going to give to you. I was kind of in the Giant Bomb Discord asking about it. And like, no, just kind of go mostly with what they're giving to you, because they're going to keep giving you more, better, more powerful units as you go along. And I'm like, okay, it's a little bit tough for me, but I think I'm going to just mostly accept that. And it's like, okay, as I'm like feeling that out, though, the battles just continue to be stellar. This is some of the best tiles in gaming. We're having a really good, strong year for games, and this is a good example for me. I had really low expectations for Engage, and now I'm coming out of it, getting through it. I'm like at chapter 10 or something like that. But as I'm going through, it's like this is quickly becoming maybe my favorite Fire Emblem, which is pretty impressive, because I never thought anything would touch Awakening. And it really just comes down to these battles being so well done in terms of their tactics, and giving you the chance to fail and learn without punishing you so much that you feel like you have to start the whole thing over. Although I have done that once or twice, and usually even when I'm doing that, I'm like, well, now I have a completely new strategy, and I'm excited to actually implement that, and it works better each time. I feel like I'm learning so much and able to enact that, and that's a big thing for me in one of these kinds of games. But mostly, it's, the best looking Fire Emblem game. It's the best playing. The characters are real dumb. They're like, it is really silly writing. But I'm like I said last week or whenever we talked about it, it's that anime soup that I could sort of just move on from, where I'm like, it's all kind of the same thing to me. It continues, actually, it does get worse. The conversations between the characters are really inane.
Hell yeah.
But I'm a certain point, I'm like, well, I could just start skipping them, and I don't even feel bad anymore. And for me, that's getting me right back in the action. I'll run around the Sam Neill a little bit, get the power ups and stuff, and then get back into the action. And that's fine with me, because it's so good when you're actually doing the combat. I don't know how to pronounce it.
No, it's Sam Neill to me as well. Yeah.
It's just the Sam Neill. Yeah.
Grub, sir, if you got a gas break dip, go on and dip. We'll see you later.
Thank you. I'll be back soon, everybody.
Yes.
Better be back for the news, man.
I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I don't know.
It's my show now.
Jesse, Prima Games newsman.
Yeah, that's me.
Prima Game Newsman. Jesse.
The young boys are in control now.
Exactly. Let's talk about stuff like, hey, doesn't everything start to hurt now that we're in our 30s?
Yeah. Well, Jesse
I ain't 30 yet.
No,
I'm
I'm in my 30s.
Oh, Jesse.
I'm young and spry, baby.
I hate you.
Fuck you.
Jesse, speaking about being young and spry, that has nothing to do with this game. Tape to Tape, the demos come out. If I recall correctly, this is a hockey roguelite?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
No, put me on. Put me on.
Okay, so Steam Next Fest is going on right now.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not a big demo person, because all it does is make me want the full game, which is its purpose. But then I don't have the full game and I get upset. And then nothing satiates me after that. But this came across my Twitter feed like last week or whatever. And it is a hockey roguelite, which is two of my favorite things. And so the game starts out and it's like you're in this like hockey goalie blacksmith lair, and this dude's like pounding a hammer on a hockey stick, like Elden Ring trailer style, and basically tells you that you're going to go on this quest to be like this great hockey player or whatever. And so then the game starts. If you ever play Monster Train or Slay the Spire,
yes,
you'll be familiar with like the dotted line sort of branching paths, like taking your path through like an area. And so I only got to play this game for like 10-15 minutes because then my computer crashed. Not the game's fault. My computer's busted beyond repair. Do not hold this against the game. The game runs fine. But basically you pick one of 3 players. That's your run. So it's like they'll all have different stats between like body checking, passing speed, accuracy, shooting. And then they all come equipped with like a special ability. So it'll be like, oh, super powerful slap shot, or like I'm going to throw a tornado on the field, or like just wild stuff. And then the game gives you an added layer of like you're going to pick an artifact. And the artifact I picked was the refs will body check opposing players. So I was like,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
now we're getting in there. And so it's like 4v4, very arcadey hockey. It's like, okay, you're going to have your shoot button, you're going to have your special ability button, you're going to have your body check button, and then you're going to have like your pass and you can like aim your shots and stuff. And it's really just like first goal wins. Like you're just kind of going through these levels, and you're getting different like gear and abilities and recruiting new players to your team that you can like customize their loadouts and stuff like that. And it's just like a really neat, like well designed, like the first area is like, here's a giant ice rink that's been taken over by like a giant kraken, and his name is Tentacle Tom, and he's gonna mess you up, and you got to get to Tentacle Tom and defeat him. And it's just like a really cool demo for a game that I'm hoping is going to be really good. Like I'm excited for it. If you like roguelites and you like hockey, like it's a cool thing. And there's a demo, it's free, you know.
I'm interested to see the Venn diagram as to like, yo, I love hockey. Yo, I love roguelites. Finally, something to appeal for my very hyper specific niche audience. Steam Next Fest when is it popping off? Is it currently popping off?
Yeah.
Oh man, demos of plenty.
Yeah.
Oh boy. There's I downloaded I forget the name of the game. It's a little skateboarding game with a little Froggy as your main character.
Oh,
it looks mad cute. I haven't actually gotten the chance to play it. Put a frog in anything and I'll play it, man. I think frogs universally, I think frogs, toad adjacent animals might be the most loved creatures. I'm gonna say it. Well, besides dogs and cats.
Are fine. Yeah, frogs are fine.
From like the amphibian family, and reptilian family, yeah,
definitely my favorite Chrono Trigger character.
Oh yeah. Grub and I have been playing a game, but Grub disappeared because he was scared of me. Called Your Only Move is Hustle, and this is going to be a toughie to explain because I haven't wrapped my mind completely around it yet. It is a turn-based fighting game. It's only $5. It's on Steam. It's interesting because do y'all remember like the stick figure flash animations we'd watch in school where it's like just stick figures
death.
Fighting? Exactly.
Stick death. Yeah, I remember that shit.
So what you do is you're playing. You could do single player, but single player is really just playing against like yourself. So it isn't as fun. But you're playing against another person, and just like a turn-based suggests, you have a whole array of moves, and some of it is like teleporting out of the way, moving forward, and you kind of pick the sequence that you want for all this stuff to play out. And then you lock in your turn, and then you see what you and your opponent chose and what winds up taking precedent over. I got absolutely obliterated because I just jumped in and went in completely brand new. But there were a couple times where I thought like, oh, I'm running this back. We're going to keep going. And
that's a good feeling.
And just seeing like the stick figures like do all the stuff that I'd see them do in flash animations and is actually kind of doing them. Absolutely wild. I think Grub and I are going to try and put like a longer stream of this game together as we both try and investigate what Your Only Move is Hustle really is, because man, it's
cool. Yeah,
just popping into it, the game doesn't really explain much to you, and it's kind of like, all right, you're left to your own devices, figure this shit out. But it's wild. It's only $5 on Steam, so it isn't too much of an investment.
It looks very technical though. Like there's a lot going on here. Yeah, it's very, very technical, but animations look sick. Like you said, this is the stick figure animation shit that we used to get hyped about back in the day, but playing out in a turn-based. They got like fucking, you can highlight the hit boxes.
Yeah.
Control like the playback speed. I think you can like customize the way your moves work. Shit's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing to...
You love to see it.
Let's see it, $5. Yeah, this shit looks sick. I know the homie Ben Janka has been talking about this a lot. He's been trying to put us on this one. So damn, yeah, it came out. Full game's out this year.
Grub isn't here right now. He had to pop out. But I thought we'd continue anyway and have a little game of the week planning sesh. And that's why I got the boys here. I got Higham, I got Vitelli here, Jesse, Michael. For the week of February 14th, we have 3 possibilities for game of the week to fully dive into. The choices are Theatrhythm, Final Bar Line. I know both of you seem really high on it. Wild Hearts, which is the Monster Hunter clone.
The Omega Force game, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Or Super 56, which is apparently a WarioWare-ish type of game.
Let me see what the Super 56 is about. Oh yeah, this is like a WarioWare type shit. This seems like a fun streaming game, Super 56. It comes out on the 20th though.
But hearing y'all being so high in Theatrhythm, I feel like I finally got to dive in. And Jesse, you're new to the series as well, right?
Yes.
Oh, are you talking about Theatrhythm?
Theatrhythm, yeah.
It's, if you've ever played a rhythm game, it's like very easy to kind of wrap your head around. It's
got some quirks.
Okay.
Sometimes it feels a little weird, but something that it does that I enjoy is that it's like, okay, so you're either going to hit a button or you're going to tilt a stick, and it's like you can hit any of the like 7 buttons that it tells you. So it's not like, oh, you have to hit X now or square. It's like just hit one of the buttons when this thing shows, when the red circle shows up. So it's like you could be using the triggers or the shoulder buttons or face buttons. So it's like whatever's like the most comfortable sort of configuration works. And so it's nice in that regard. It's a little forgiving.
Okay.
Yeah. It gets pretty tough though.
It
like
does get harder as you
on,
get the higher levels.
Yeah, I think I was playing on like extreme or like ultimate, whatever the highest level was, because it has a line here, has a bar, and it has either 1 line or four lines that move towards it to the beat. So you got to like line up your timings, and then like Jesse said, it'll do like little squiggly shits, which you use your stick for. It gets a little overwhelming. It has like directional inputs too, with you flick the stick diagonally or sometimes
other way. Both sticks or sticks in opposite directions, or
it's it can get to be a lot, but the way it syncs to the songs, there's like, oh, I love these songs. I played all the 14 songs, played all the 7 songs available. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a nice trip down memory lane.
Okay. For the following week, we got a couple more options here.
Oof, you already know.
I think the first one listed here might take precedent here. We have Like a Dragon Ishin, PSVR 2, Company of Heroes 3, in early access, Kerbal Space Program 2, which might be fun.
Okay, all right.
Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Michael, I think I know how you're feeling.
We lost Michael. Yep, there we go.
Oh, there's a little Kirby. There we go. And then Octopath Traveler 2, which I've completely spaced out, was even coming out this month.
Yeah.
Let alone this year. I think it might go to Like a Dragon, boys.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon. Yeah, I mean, Ishin, I think I talked about this last week when you were talking about the game, but yeah, Ishin it's been a long time coming, and I think that's gonna be a very special game. It's been one of my most hyped games ever since it was finally announced. I was like looking at playing the original version off of some illicit websites, you know what I'm saying, and getting fan translation on that thing, but I don't have to anymore. I don't have to do that anymore.
Don't got to do that.
I had to play a preview of it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it's cool. You know, it's got all those mini games you want. You want to play a dancing mini game for 45 minutes like I did? Go for it.
You want to chop wood?
Yeah.
Here's 2 hours, and I spent 45 minutes of it playing a dancing mini game, and I don't think they were happy with me.
I used my time effectively as well. I just sat there and chopped wood, and I'd do it again. Other than that, I mean, PSVR 2, I'm curious to get my hands on it.
Yeah, are y'all even getting?
Who knows?
Maybe it's forbidden questions.
Maybe it's forbidden questions.
Are you even getting a PSVR 2 beforehand?
Oh, we'll see.
Okay. Octopath Traveler 2 is a tricky one though, because it is a really long RPG. The first one was probably like 50 to 60 hours, I say. But I think the main thing for me with Octopath Traveler is how they can make those different, the 8 different protagonists kind of meld together better, because the first one, I saw the vision,
Yeah.
I like what they were trying to do. HD 2D is a cool concept. I don't think that I think that game didn't blend the different perspectives well enough. But I do like that they had these things which you can jump between. It felt a little disparate. I think a lot of the dungeon crawling exploration stuff was pretty rudimentary. I don't think that was necessarily a highlight of that game. It's more like, here's a protagonist. Here's HD 2D.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
You like old RPGs.
Their names spell Octopath.
Yo, I forgot about that. Damn. Wow. Open your third eye.
I had to watch a YouTube video last night of just some random YouTube video of 10 things that are different in Octopath 2, because I still don't know what's different about this game.
Yeah, I don't either, like, other than it being 2.
Classes are the same. It's like new characters. There's 2 continents now. There's a boat you can go on, it looks like. You can travel between the continents. The path actions, there's day and night now instead of just day, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, this looks very similar.
I don't know if that's what I want, you know? Like, Live Alive, I really wound up liking. I eventually got to circle back and finish that joint. But, like, Octopath Traveler and then Octopath Traveler 2, I don't know.
They're pretty meaty games, I would say. They're pretty heavy. You want to set aside some time for that shit. I wonder, do you Jesse, do you know how they've changed like battle mechanics? Because I really like the boost mechanic. I thought that was a really smart idea.
Oh boy, do I got something for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
They added, according to this video I watched, I just could, whatever. It showed gameplay, so it's got to be real, right?
Sure.
There's something called latent powers, which like you can charge up these
like
powerful
Gohan
spells. And I was watching it with the homie Eric Van Allen, and we noticed that one of the special abilities is called Hoot and Holler. And I'm just like, I'm walking into every boss fight and just using Hoot and Holler, which just like buffs your party. So it seems like they've added like another battle mechanic onto it.
Hell yeah.
Called latent powers. That's about all I got in terms of battle new stuff.
Sick.
Okay. For the last week of February, we're getting to be a little light on the releases, but we have Destiny 2 Lightfall and then Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I almost
said Destiny 2 Lightfall.
I think I might go with Wolong Fallen Dynasty rather than Destiny 2.
Run that back one more time.
I think I might go with Wolong Fallen Dynasty rather than Destiny 2. Mostly because I've been Destiny curious for I feel like years now, but I just don't know how to properly dive in at this point.
Yeah. We was talking about a little bit on GameSpot After Dark last week with the boy Jean-Luc Seipke. Because he's a Destiny boy, so if you want to get into Destiny, hit him up. But he was talking. I mean, we had a long conversation about the bloat problem with Destiny, where they built this really solid foundation. When you keep adding things on top of it, year after year after year, it just becomes like an intangible kind of. It's hard to get your grasp around, especially if you jump into it new. And I don't feel like Bungie has necessarily had the time to kind of redo a lot of that stuff that kind of became a problem for newcomers. At least what Jean-Luc was telling me, that Lightfall is going to simplify some of that stuff. I always feel like there's on some level that each expansion does some of that to an extent, but it sounds like, I don't know, there's probably like some more Destiny nerds out there who probably know better than me, but Jean-Luc was kind of selling me on the idea. I've tried Destiny time and time again. And so I saw the vision. I like what I was seeing, but the dedication is I can only really dedicate one live service game. You know where my heart's at. So, but
I think Destiny has a really bad like re-onboarding players problem.
Sure.
Like I think it's pretty okay at onboarding new players because like it'll start you out and like sort of kind of gradually teach you some stuff. But if you're a player who's played an expansion or two, has some gear, has kind of been through some of the weekly stuff, and then tries to like come back, it's like incredibly overwhelming. There's like a lot of stuff, and they've tried to simplify that over the years, but like re-onboarding like a lapsed player seems to be like a really hard thing for Destiny to wrestle with. And it's something that I've done where it's like I come back for every expansion, I play through the campaign, I enjoy myself well enough, and then it's like, okay, you got to go grind for this thing, and I just kind of fall off after a week or two of like the new season. And I always want to go back, but I just it's a lot.
I've seen like a lot of people in chat, especially anytime Destiny gets brought up about getting into it, about just getting a Sherpa, getting a homie, that'll help guide you through. But then I have like the guilt that kicks in of like, oh, I don't want to waste
I gotta stick with it.
Like now I gotta stick with it. I don't want to waste your time, especially if you're gonna stop doing whatever your dailies are in Destiny 2, if there are dailies. I don't know, man. To help shepherd me through. And then it's like, okay, how am I gonna retain all of this knowledge and just properly become like someone that's contributing to whatever party there is in Destiny? I don't know, man. It's too much pressure. It's too much pressure.
Yeah, it is. But Jesse, you were saying like the re-onboarding thing. I think that's the thing that fucked me up because I played a shit ton of Destiny 1 on launch. I played a lot of Destiny 2 on launch. I tried getting back in with Beyond Light. I was almost there with it, but I think you get attuned to certain systems and mechanics, and then when you come back, they're kind of obsolete. And I think that's a tough part. It's like I thought I knew that this system will work like this, but they've kind of made that obsolete, added this new thing that's kind of like the thing I know, but I can't really break from that kind of systematic language that I learned from when I was playing it. So I don't know. It is tough, but I can imagine like, Bungie probably is like, we got to get the next batch of content out the door. We can't be worrying about this stuff, whatever. So I imagine that stuff is a whole task in and of itself. But
it also just feels kind of bad when you have like a really cool gun that you like, and then you come back and it's like, oh, that gun's useless now. It's like, oh well,
light levels are off, brother.
Light levels are off, or they've like completely just like, oh, that's not the meta anymore. Now you need to get this gun. And I get that's like the carrot on the stick is always like getting the new thing. Like I'm very well aware of that. Mm-hmm. When you come back and you're like, I just want to use the things I like to use. Sometimes that kind of sucks, but there are ways around that. You can level that stuff up, but it just takes time.
Yeah. Wolong though.
Wolong,
keep your eyes peeled for that.
I'm gonna assume that it is like an Elden Ring like, or like a.
Because that's from the Neo team? Neo joint, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what the Neo team also made?
What's up?
Fucking Stranger of Paradise, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
We did. Okay, I've played Wolong Fallen. Oh my God, Fallen Dynasty.
You gotta get that one right before we end this thing.
Before on a UPF. One day. All right. Before we go to break, because we gotta pad some time out here for Grub to get back.
Sure.
I have specifically called you two here because I need guidance, and I want to give guidance to the folks at home, the Giant Bomb audience that have always been curious to get into Final Fantasy XIV. And if you were to give tips to someone starting out, they get the free trial, right? And they're like, all right, cool, I'm doing some of these quests. The lady with the rabbit ears or the cat ears was like, yo, what's up, dog? Cool.
Okay.
And, like, there is a carrot and stick moment, but, like, I feel like for some people, myself included, you kind of get caught in the slog of, all right, I've done the first couple missions, my guild rank or whatever is up to a certain limit. Like, what is next? What do I got to keep doing should I stay on the main path for my class? Should I just explore and do whatever? What do I gotta do, gentlemen?
Jesse, how you feel?
And this is like a tall order, I realize. But like if you were to give like 2-3 tips to help someone stay focused and get to like the good stuff.
Roll it up the sleeves.
Tip number 1. Everyone's got a friend who plays Final Fantasy XIV, and they're going to be over eager to help. And most of the time, they end up giving you way too much information up front.
Yeah.
They end up over explaining things, and it becomes way more overwhelming. Because like I've been there, I've done that to friends. Friends have done that to me, where it's like, oh, then there's this and this, and it's like half the time you don't even need to know about that stuff until you're well into the game and you want to explore those systems on your own terms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Starting out, main quest, just do the main story. You're not going to be underleveled. You're not going to need to do side quests. However, whatever job you pick, whether that be Marauder or whatever, Rogue. No, you can't even do Rogue at the beginning. Arcanist, Conjurer, anything like that. Every like 5 or 10 levels, you'll want to just go back to your guild, talk to them, do the job quest or 2. It'll give you a new spell, a new ability, a new trait.
Okay.
And then you just go back to the main story and you kind of just ping pong back and forth. And then as you kind of become more acclimated to the way that the game operates, the systems, the combat, you'll start to become naturally curious about things like, oh, that person's got a really cool mount, or oh, how do I get this armor? Or oh, I keep hearing people talk about this thing. What is this thing? What's the gold saucer? How do I do that? And then you'll start to kind of poke and prod at the things that interest you along the way. But just stay on the main path until you sort of become naturally curious about other things. And you can kind of ignore the majority of the game until you're ready on your own terms to go deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting mad FOMO because I'll see you, Michael, talking about and just like feeling all the feelings talking about this game. You know?
Yeah.
And then like I'll see Jesse chiming in too. I'm like, oh man, like I want to hang out with the boys. And like I think I think part of the thing that holds me back is also the like whole timing thing of like, yo, I can't like pitch in when y'all are probably playing or whatever. And it's like that the actual social aspect of Final Fantasy 14 that's like throwing me off. So I could theoretically play most of it as a single player game, right?
Yeah. It's I always tell folks it's more of like a single player JRPG that happens to be an MMO. And I think that's how you should approach it, because like Jesse said, the main story quest is really what you should focus on. And you can legit do that from start to finish. You can start from A Realm Reborn, follow the critical path. In the top left corner, there's going to be a thing that says main scenario quest. You click it, it'll show you where that quest is, what level you should be. And the game is structured in a way that you should be able to get enough experience that I think there's a few level gates along the way, but if there are, it's probably like you're missing one level and you could rerun a dungeon and you'll get more than enough experience to get to that level. So there's very minimal level gating in the main quest. So honestly, and through Realm Reborn, I know this, that it's not the most exciting thing.
Sure,
it's fine. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it's a crucial piece of the foundation to get you to the good shit that you see in the expansion, Heaven's Word, and on. So that just you use it as a game to like chill out. I don't think I want to set people's expectations. So if like Jan, if you're trying to get back into it, understand that it's not going to be the most exciting thing. Like you're not going to be blown away in the 20 hours that it takes to get through A Realm Reborn. But stick with it. It's a good learning tool, I would say. That Realm Reborn, like if you just follow the main story quest and like Jesse said, do your job quests, you're going to understand the game naturally by just progressing through the game. Because you will encounter dungeons that you need to go through for the main story. And there's matchmaking, so you don't need to like talk to anyone. You just queue into something, it'll matchmake you. And the story dungeons are really straightforward. And you're gonna be 95% of the time you're going to be matched with people who have ran the shit many times, because the way the end game is structured, it encourages other players to queue into these pools called duty roulettes that you get rewards, whatever, if you run a random dungeon, and they'll queue you into people who need that help. So it's kind of this ecosystem where high-end players are encouraged to help newcomers and all sorts of shit. So you'll be fine doing that. Like they were intimidating years ago when I tried them, but I quickly realized how that system works. So it's
super nice because the game will also like notify players like, hey, this is someone's first time running this dungeon, you're going to get increased rewards, but it won't call out the person whose first time it is. Usually it's kind of obvious based on,
you could see the sprout
stuff. yeah, it's not like a secret, but it is not like, hey, it's this person's first time, like be aware. It's like, hey, a player hasn't run this before, and so sometimes in chat the tank will be like, hey, do you need this fight explained, or like, hey, just watch out for this one thing, trips people up. And if you write like, hey, it's my first time, they'll usually run you through something pretty. And those story dungeons don't have a lot of mechanics, like Michael was saying, so it's not a super difficult experience. But the community is like 99% of the time throughout story stuff is pretty good.
That 1% though,
there is that 1%.
They've been coming out strong this month.
That's online gaming.
Oh my god, yeah. But another tip I would say is, so this isn't Final Fantasy 14, if you haven't touched it, it's not like other RPGs where you have to like spec into stats. All that stuff is figured out for you. Just pick whatever job that you want to play that most interests you and roll with it. You will learn how to play that job by virtue of the structure of the game. So you're not going to be like, oh my god, I don't know my fucking rotation. Well, you're not going to need to know your rotation until you're like level 50 anyway.
Oh, okay.
And the way it builds, like you don't have to like pick stats, attributes, or anything like that. Just equip whatever gear that is best suited for you. You'll get gear along the way. Sometimes you'll have to buy gear pieces. You'll have more than enough gil, I think. The game also has a lot of incentives for newcomers too. They'll give you like, hey, have 500,000 gil for starting out. I don't know, fucking here's some golden chocobo tickets to get you some gear. I don't know, have fun.
Figure it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of incentives for new players, so you'll be alright.
There's also a lot of social aspects that aren't tied to end game activities.
Oh yeah.
Like the club scene is kind of wild and something that we talk about a lot, where it's like you just go to people's houses that turn them into like nightclubs, and then like they'll have a Twitch stream open, they'll send you the link, and you just like watch someone DJ like emo night at this club in this housing plot, and you go there. And like as long as you have the housing award unlocked, which you can do pretty early on,
like level 15, I think. Yeah.
You just like go hang out. Like there's so many social things to do in that game that are not the high end content rating and stuff like that. Like
there's seasonal events all the time.
Seasonal events, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding a couple weeks ago in 14.
Oh, congrats to the happy couple or throuple. Yeah. I don't know.
You can't run a Triz in Final Fantasy 14 yet, so.
No.
Well, the last thing being, I'll say, like I said, you can play any job that you want. You'll be fine. Though I do recommend, if you are not like attuned to MMORPGs, pick a DPS class. Healer and tanks are kind of a responsibility. I mean, you can learn, and people will help guide you along the way, but they are quite a heavy responsibility. So I would lean towards a DPS job, maybe melee DPS if you want to get the easiest route, I would say. So that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for talking me into doing it. Part of the reason why my interest is renewed is because I think my subscription renewed and I didn't realize it. So
I got you.
I paid the money. I should probably check it out again.
Damn, that means you've been paying for years at this point.
Yeah. Let me tell you, there's a certain sponsor of this podcast that helps you realize that. And then I was like, oh no, I should do that. And they will not give you a refund. Okay, cool. Sick.
That's on you.
That's on me. You know what? I gotta be an adult. Real quick before we go to break, we actually have a game of the week. And our game of the week here on giantbomb.com and the Bombcast is our game of the week is standing with our trans allies. That's right. All our homies, home girls, home thems, home NBs, we stand with y'all, we bang with y'all. That's right, folks. We're not playing a dumb game with brooms and stuff. Sweep that out of the way, baby. So we're gonna fade to black. We'll be right back. We're gonna let Jeff Grubb get reacclimated and go with the news, because I don't know how to do news anymore. What am I gonna do? That's right. To our trans friends out there, stand with y'all. What's up? You want to get some coffee or whatever? I don't know. We'll check in with you. Let's kick it. Can you kick it? Yes, you can. After this break, though.
When it comes to hiring, you need to trust your gut. But what if you could give your gut some help? When you want to find top talent fast, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Hate waiting? Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. You're already doing the work for looking for people to help work for you. Indeed does all of the hard work. You sponsor a job and boom, Instant Match shows you all the candidates whose resume on Indeed already fits your job description immediately after you post. With Indeed Instant Match, you can start hiring fast. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have requirements. Visit Indeed.com/bomb to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/bomb. Indeed.com/bomb. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. I love me a good bowl of cereal, but when I'm looking at the store, all the other types and brands just feel so bland. I'm trying to relive the magic of eating cereal as a kid, and that's where Magic Spoon comes in. With 13 to 14 grams of protein, Magic Spoon has replicated the flavors of childhood cereals to taste good, but also contain 0 grams of sugar and 4 to 5 net grams per serving. Yo, it is also keto friendly on top of that. It's gluten-free, it's grain-free, and soy-free. And at 140 calories a serving, it is a high quality choice in the morning, y'all. Over 8 flavors, you got a variety to choose from. You got cocoa, fruity, frosted, honey nut, and my personal favorite, y'all, cinnamon roll. And guess what? Birthday cake is back, baby. My friends, family, and I are constantly amazed that we can enjoy a bowl of Magic Spoon without feeling the guilt kick in with other cereal. Head to magicspoon.com/bomb to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try the magic for yourself. And be sure to use our promo code BOMB at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/bomb and use the code BOMB to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. Out of nowhere, Jeff Grubb bursts back in, and
I'm here.
I'm here, and then he slaps the cup of coffee out of my hand, and it's like, we got news to do.
It's Wulong Fallen Dynasty, Jan.
It's not Wolong?
I don't know. I think it's Wulong. I think it is Wulong. But also, I every time you were saying it, I wanted to say Dynasty.
That's how I'm gonna go out. That's how I'm gonna go out. Like
exactly.
Dynasty.
Susio gang, rise up.
Bastos gang.
Bomb, we Dynasty.
Giant bomb tapes.
Yeah, I'm down. I think you picked the right games. I was listening in the van. Like a Dragonition, Wulong
Final Destiny.
Final Destination.
Yes.
Okay. Now he's infected me. I have news, Jan. If you wanna get into that.
Only if I can play this sound cue. Oh, it's real though. There we go. This is the news of the week. Wait, I actually have something I'm very upset about.
Yeah.
And okay, let's rein it back in. You know, not actually super upset about, but like disappointed in. You know,
could be worse.
What happened?
I pop on my local news channel. You know, shouts out to KTVU, but also not shouts out to KTVU because they fired my guy Frank Somerville. Shouts out to Frank Somerville. Dennis Richmond, though, he can still get it. I thought he was my dad growing up because he kind of looked like him. That's besides the point. Did y'all know some weather people are no longer reporting in front of a green screen? It's just just giant TVs now.
What are we even doing here? What is the point of all this?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the point then? If you're not gonna like pantomime,
I'm outraged.
I just like my whole life was trying to figure out ways that I could get to work with. At first, it was a blue screen, and then eventually turned into a green screen. That was my whole life. How can I make this a part of what I do for a living? And these people had every opportunity, and instead they're choosing big TVs. That is loser shit.
And you know, like since it's like local broadcast, like local news, right? The quality of the camera is not going to be good. The quality of TVs is not going to be good. So it's like I could barely make out what's on that TV.
Yeah, because you know the TV, the backlight, getting your back blown out. It's just like it fucks with the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what happened to Greg Miller at Royal Rumble.
Right?
He got his back blown out.
He got his back blown out. Got creep out. Are they even touchscreens like the TVs that they're using? Because that's the thing. Like on CNN in 2008, the election season in 2008.
That was so cool.
Mind. That shit was like, they got motherfucking touchscreens. Damn.
Are you telling me
like
that the kind of funny spare bedroom is now just a giant weather? They can just
that's what I was. I was literally gonna go the same place, Jesse. I'm like, I need to see Kevin doing the weather. Just give me a full don't even make it a bit. just full sell it, actually have Kevin do a daily weather thing. I would watch that every day.
Yeah, Kevin.
He's got
Kevin's
meteorologist energy.
I thought about taking a meteorologist class in college, and then
to get the girls right. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I failed miserably at that. We don't need to tell that story. That's a dump truck story. Anyway, Jeff Grubb, the news.
Yes. There it is. So recently we were talking, hey, things are lining up. Looks like there's going to be a Nintendo Direct this week. Well, guess what? Nintendo is having a Direct this week. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will be getting a Direct. This is going to be 40 minutes long, according to Nintendo, and mostly focused on games for the first half of this year. I am excited. We are going to do a talkover. We're already planning that. That's happening. So look out for that. So join us, hang out. I'm really looking forward to this one. But I don't necessarily know why, because this is a tough one to nail down what is going to be in this Direct. I mean, I suppose we know some things like Zelda, right? That's going to be in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If we're talking in the first half of the year.
Yeah, and what, we're February. May is 3-4 months away. That is the right chunk of time to really go hard on the marketing. So this is going to be the kickoff of the marketing for Tears of the Kingdom. And then the other things that it seems like we either do know about or are likely is Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, and then Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 is a game that they confirmed for this year. Is that the first half of this year? Is one of those that's mostly first half of this year, so it actually skirts out to maybe the second half. And then Advance Wars, there's been a lot of stuff pointing to this game is back. That Walmart listing or those Walmart cutouts those were never real. That person didn't take a picture of it. That was always weird. Walmart Canada confirmed. No, that's not a thing. But still,
thanks Walmart.
Yes, all these other things are still pointing towards the Advance Wars is probably coming back. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a shadow drop, but it could be something where, hey, it's coming out in the next couple of months. Maybe it slips back into that April time slot that it had last year before it got delayed because of the war. Outside of those games, or maybe you guys have more to say about those games, what are all your predictions for what we will see at the Direct? What do you think, Jan?
I'm thinking we'll get a tease of them announcing another Pokemon Direct coming soon. Whether that's an update for Scarlet and Violet or DLC. I don't think they're going to do a third version. I think the Pokemon company's
it's
not
DLC now.
Yeah, I think they're in favor of DLC because then that's an easier way to get some people onboarded onto the game rather than having them play through the whole thing again. It's we already got you. Let's keep you. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, unless it's something really cool for Nintendo Switch Online of we finally got the Game Boy stuff.
Yeah, we've heard those rumors for a long time. Apparently that the emulators to make those happen have been done for a really long time. Also, Nintendo Switch Online's been kind of boring since the Nintendo 64 stuff. So yeah. I'm hopeful. Did you guys? I mean, I guess my question would be: do you guys think it's going to be just Game Boy? If this does happen, we have no idea. But if it does happen, is it just Game Boy Color? Or do they also do Game Boy Advance? Because I think if they did both, that could be big, and I would be very into that. Game Boy Advance games, there's a ton of great GBA games.
Yeah. I would love it if they just go straight to the GBA. I might have been too young to really have any reverence for any other Game Boy games other than Tetris and maybe a Wario game. But I would, the things I do to get, I could get a GBA on a handheld device right now.
Yeah, I got a million ways to play Game Boy Advance games, and yet I'm still excited about this. Yeah, for real. I mean, probably though it is going to be Game Boy Color, and they put that Yoshi Game Boy game on there, 2 other things, and then that's it. But that would be Nintendo.
Yeah. You also got the Bayonetta Origins coming out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Next month.
That's true. I always forget about that.
So folks who unlock that secret stuff in Bayonetta 3 kind of already got a little taste of what that game is. I'm interested in it. Also,
what is it, Michael Higham?
It's a top-down adventure.
Okay.
With
RPG-ish or what?
No, it's just this. I don't know what this, if they're expanding on stuff or just trying to. I don't know the scope of this game. That's the thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
What the scope is of Bayonetta Origins, if it's going to have action combat or anything like that. But that information might be out there already. My bad.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay. But yeah, I want to see where that goes. the Kirby and the Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I want to see more Kirby.
Right, that's out here soon, right? That's what in the next
2
couple
weeks.
of weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we know what that game is. It's a remaster of a Wii of the
Right,
Wii
so
game.
that'll probably get like
At least
either in a sizzle reel or something like that. They usually when a game is out in the next couple of weeks, they don't spend too much time on it in one of these directs. But
just remind us.
Yeah, maybe they'll remind us exactly. But then beyond those, or are there any other ones that we do know are coming that we need to list? I mean, we mentioned the Pokemon stuff later this year. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else for the second half of this year, and it's tough to really place anything based on Nintendo's schedule right now. There have been rumors of Bandai Namco working on a third-person action remake or remaster of an older Nintendo game. And then Sakurai, in one of his videos was like, "Hey, maybe someone will bring back Kid Icarus Uprising."
Oh, right. I remember.
Okay.
I remember the rumble in the streets for that.
Yeah, is this the time? Do you guys think it could be in this direct? I'm kind of hopeful. I think that would be pretty neat. And if this game's coming to the Switch, it's probably time to just say it's happening.
Yeah,
I have like no recollection of Kid Icarus. At all.
Kid Icarus is not my wheelhouse. But like, hey, if it comes to Switch, cool. That's an opportunity for me and probably many others to like give that game a fair shake and play it.
Right.
Sure. I think we're gonna start seeing more 3DS conversions onto the Switch.
You think?
Soon. Yeah.
I think it's like this is like the ideal one too, as Marino in chat points out. A version of that game that's playable without the plastic stand attached to your 3DS would be cool. Do you guys remember that's how they had you play it?
Yes.
So it came with this stand, and it was like this little. I think, as far as I remember, like this little top thing, and you would rest the 3DS in there, so you could only use one hand, and one hand would control the 3DS buttons, and then you have the stylus, and then you control the shooting with the stylus, so you didn't have to actually hold it with the other hand. And it's as awkward as it sounds, but it also was a pretty decent way to play that game. Obviously, what you do now is you just adjust the controls to make it a traditionally playing game for the Switch, and then you also save that game for like in perpetuity. And now that you've done that work, you can release it again in the future on other platforms. And there you go. So I think this is probably happening to that game.
And if it does happen, I think they can really get the ball rolling on more 3DS ports or 3DS remasters. I know it's a little tricky because of the dual screens but there are a lot of 3DS games that I love very much that, the second screen was complementary, not vital. And I see folks mentioning Shin Megami Tensei 4. Boy, let me tell you about Shin Megami Tensei 4. If we can get a port of that, and For Apocalypse, because For Apocalypse I actually love very much, might be my favorite SMT to this day. If we can get the ball rolling on those, if we can get Persona Q and Q2 on the Switch, I will fucking lose my shit. Q and Q2 are mad underrated because it came out on 3DS, especially Q2 because it came out on the 3DS in 2019. Who the fuck was playing 3DS in 2019 besides me and like five other?
I was playing WarioWare Gold still, I think. So I was right there with you. I'll make a deal with you, Higham. If Shin Megami Tensei stuff gets announced, I will freak out. As long as if Rusty's Real Deal Baseball gets announced, you freak out. All right, deal.
Now we're talking.
Rusty's Real Deal
Baseball.
God, Jesse, we gotta learn this boy. We gotta teach him something for once.
I can feign enthusiasm for Rusty.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
I got you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we were talking about 3DS games that no one really got to play. Grub, you were reporting earlier this week or last week about Detective Pikachu 2. Maybe
bring that out. Yeah, maybe that's what's taking that thing so long is they were supporting it to the Switch before ever releasing it. So yeah.
Yeah, give me like good old Detective Pikachu. I feel like folks maybe are going to be disappointed that only ever caught the movie because Pikachu's not going to sound like Ryan Reynolds. He's going to sound like Danny DeVito and just have a gruff voice.
I love Ryan Reynolds, and yet that's still a huge improvement.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I want another.
Do I love Ryan Reynolds? I feel like I overstated things.
I didn't know that you did love Ryan Reynolds, but now that's your new thing.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, I've said it on a podcast, and now it's true. I'm sorry, Jesse. I stepped all over you. What were you saying?
Oh, I just want another giant Detective Pikachu amiibo because that first one's like huge.
That's a chunky boy.
Give me another one. It's a big one.
Oh.
There's rumors about a Biden Kaitos.
Biden Kamala?
Hunter Biden Kaitos. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Oh my god.
I have no idea if that's a real thing. I really do not expect it to be, but I think that'd be pretty funny if that happened.
Was that the pinball game?
No,
That's an RPG.
I think you're thinking of Odama. I think you're thinking of Odama.
I'm always thinking of Odama. Sorry.
That's the pinball GameCube like war game that you play with a microphone. So we should actually make that content on this site immediately. Actually, so don't put that out so we can corner the market on that one.
Thanks, Odama.
But Byeeeee Kaitos is
Thanks, Odama.
It's an RPG where you play as like some warrior angel. So like most RPGs, basically.
Oh, okay.
And then a Metroid Prime Remaster. We can move on from that.
Kratos and Odama.
Byeeee and
Odama.
Do we think it's time for like an Octopath 2 demo? Is that a
have to.
That's a really good point.
We haven't gotten a demo for that game yet, and they always love to do the progress carries over to the full game.
That's a good call. That's a really good call. I bet
Square
that does
Enix loves
happen.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Progress carries over stuff is like a huge thing Square has done with all of those. A lot of times they did ones where they would do early demos and take a bunch of feedback, but I bet they know the feedback they needed to do with Octopath Traveler 2, and now they could just do the progress carries over demo. I would not be surprised by that at all. But the big stuff. Do you guys think we see Metroid Prime 4?
Oh, Grub, I'm sorry.
Well, listen, Metroid Prime Remaster is the thing that lost me my hair. Metroid Prime 4, I still like. Come on, is that thing even real at this point? I don't think so. I don't think you talk about that. Listen, I don't think we hear about Metroid Prime 4 until Zelda comes out and is like past and out of like in the rear view mirror. Because why would you even bring that up? The specter of that.
No, yeah.
So I don't know. You guys don't think there's any chance?
No,
not
now at least.
Out unless you have substantial stuff to show. Because it's been so long and it's gone through the reboot internally or whatever, and it's. Yeah, you don't show that unless you are ready for marketing and a date and everything else.
Is that something they say for Switch 2, right?
Yeah, it feels like it could be a cross-gen game at this point. Yeah, kind of launch game. But Metroid is a weird one for that because it's never been a major seller ever. So
really?
Yeah, really. Like the best-selling one now, I think, is Dread, and it sold like barely over 3 million copies.
Wow.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, Metroid's not huge in Japan. Metroid Dread did pretty okay in Japan, all things considered, but traditionally that series has never done that great in Japan. So,
You think if like it came out as like a $30 joint rather than a full $60, that would have helped move the needle?
Are you talking about for Dread?
For Dread, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Nintendo was like very happy to be like, we can get 3 million and establish that even a game like Dread is going to be $60. Fuck you, we're Nintendo. Like, I think that was more important to them than anything else.
Put it on a shirt.
That's right. One other thing, Nintendo's releasing a movie with Illumination Studios called Super Mario Brothers this summer. We get a game? Do we get a game that ties into that?
A game? A full game?
Do we get a Mario game?
Pascal.
Well, yeah, not necessarily like a Super Mario Brothers, the movie, the game, but do we get a Super Mario Brothers anything to go along with? Or, Donkey Kong was in that last trailer. Do we get a Donkey Kong game? What are you guys thinking? Anything along those lines?
Nah, not really. I don't.
To me, it's hard to believe for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I feel like Mario, like a new Mario game, would be too precious to have it be related to the movie.
Definitely, but I mean, but if there was, let's say, there was just a new, like we haven't had a new 2D Mario in a long time, especially if you don't count Super Mario Maker games. So it's like it's not related to the movie necessarily. The timing just works out. Like The Last of Us, remaster working out with the timing where, hey, that's available on shelves right now for $70, and hey, there's a TV show. If that did come along, what do you guys think it would look like? Let's throw out the idea that it has anything to do with the characters that are in the film.
It has to be another 2D joint.
Do they have any? Well, what do you think? Maybe they could put out like a remaster or a port of a previous Mario game that isn't on Switch yet. I don't know.
They probably could, but they run pretty deep on a lot of those. I guess they did New Super Mario Brothers U, right? That's the one they remastered. So, I don't know.
World they brought back with Bowser's Fury. Maybe you get like a Bowser's Fury smaller scale thing, where it's like tacked on to another thing that they pull out. They're
but I mean that was already smaller scale.
Yeah, it like you said, it feels hard to believe. Like it's a weird, like it.
Yes.
I don't know what a new 2D Mario game in 2023 looks like. Like, just can't. I can't visualize it until I see it. You know what I mean? And when I see it, I might go, "Oh, of course, this makes so much sense." But my brain's just not going there.
Yeah, if they had supported Mario Maker 2 more, I'd easily see like, oh, here's a movie pack. Here's like Mario with no ass.
That's such a good idea. Man,
but they
like,
never do it.
Or like Super Mario Odyssey was getting expansion kingdoms, so you would do the movie Kingdom. Like even that would be cool, but they haven't done any DLC for Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh my god! If they announced like Odyssey DLC, dude, first I'd line up outside of a GameStop, and I wouldn't need to, but I'd still do it.
Man, Odyssey's so good.
It's a game where you play as Lakitu with the camera, and you're just following Mario around. You don't control.
You play as a pervert. Finally,
you are the cameraman, and you are making your own Mario movie.
Now you already do play as Lakitu in Super Mario Brothers 64 because you're controlling both Mario and Lakitu. It's a 2-player game.
What?
That's,
like the Adventures of Cookies and Cream from software back in the
thing
day.
in that game. It opens up where it shows that when you look in the mirror, you see Lakitu, and that's your C button. That's who you control on the C button, and then on the stick you're controlling Mario. Like they try to teach you, hey, you're controlling 2 characters here. That was the whole thing. And then it broke me for a long time because that meant the controls were inverted because when you press left, Lakitu's going to move left and look right. So that's where it all went wrong for your boy Jeffrey in terms of inversion. I guess I won't be completely shocked if a Mario game comes out. My line is, please no more new Super Mario Brothers. You know, that's the word, but a part of me thinks that's just the word because that's what people want to believe. And I don't know if I'm ready to think that Nintendo is ready to throw that out because those worked so well for so long and were very, very, very cheap for them to make. It's like they haven't done one in a while. I suppose that's enough. And they've had a lot of success with Super Mario Super Mario Odyssey being this massive 25 million plus copy seller, while the 2D games have even them being Wii U remasters, being the Wii U remaster, didn't sell nearly as well. So maybe they're thinking, hey, 3D games are now the main thing we should be focused on. If they do that, and it is anything to do with that rumored Donkey Kong game that apparently some people say that the Mario team was working on next, and this being the 3D Mario team, I will continue to say that my hope is it is a 3D version of Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy, where you just
hell yeah.
Yeah, just basically it's a puzzle platformer starring Mario with basically that same move set. You do the first 4 Donkey Kong arcade levels, but now in full 3D platforming, and then it breaks out into this awesome, expansive adventure. But boy, I don't think we're gonna get that. So
one can dream.
Any other guesses for what we might get out of this Nintendo Direct?
I want 3DS games. Give it to me.
Yeah. What about GameCube games? Like, what about an initiative to say, hey, we're gonna port more GameCube games to the Switch?
Ooh, give me that Wario game.
Wario World.
Gale of Darkness, baby.
Gale of Darkness. Yeah,
there we go. My guy.
Yeah. All right, let's move ahead here. Nintendo reported its earnings. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold 20 million copies in 6 weeks. It is already the number 4 best-selling Pokemon game. What the hell?
It's also only like 5 million behind Sword and Shield.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Damn.
Wild.
It is just massive. It is kind of hard to put into terms of this is selling it's just kind of unprecedented. This is a huge seller. I mean, we're going to talk about God of War here in a little bit, and that sold 11 million in its first month or whatever. And it's like that's really, really fast. That's 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks, 20 million copies. Games just don't do that. They really don't. No. There are, Rockstar games do that basically, and that's it. Even Call of Duty sometimes struggles to get there. They get like 15 million in their first couple of months. So just unbelievable. Meanwhile, the Switch has outsold the Game Boy and the PS4 in terms of lifetime with 122 million units sold. The best-selling console of all time, the PS2, I believe, I think PS2 is right ahead of the DS, right? That's how it goes. That's about 152-ish million, I think. I can never remember the exact number. Do you guys think the Switch will get there?
Yeah.
So Nintendo's forecasting 20 million more Switches sold for this next fiscal year. So yeah, or at least I believe that's the report at least.
I mean, they're gonna keep riding this thing out.
155 million for PS2. Thank you, Dr. Randall.
So they're holding the Switch 2 behind. Once we pass the 155 mark, we can roll out the Switch 2. Congratulations,
Yep.
you made it.
Yeah, do you think it'll be like a Game Boy Color situation? Because they count the Game Boy Color as part of Game Boy.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, to expand
Yeah.
to expand those
Oh.
numbers.
It's the same ecosystem.
Yeah, they might try the same thing. For the first
that
300
works,
million
then
selling
no
console.
Will pass that. No one.
Yes.
If they combine Switch and Switch 2, no console's ever coming close to that.
Yes, definitely. This is part of this is remembering. Oh, Nintendo combined their handheld and their home console into one, and this was the power of what you could do when you had both. Really, if you compare this to what the Wii and the DS were doing, like combined, it's like still nowhere close to that. It's like that was just such a dominant time for them. This is still dominant, all things considered, because a huge chunk of that market did get taken away by mobile phones since the Wii and the DS came out. But yeah. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is at 52 million copies sold. Animal Crossing New Horizons is 41.5 million. Real quick on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, remember that doesn't include the Wii U version of just Mario Kart 8. So that's probably like another 4 million on top of that. Yeah, Splatoon 3 is at 10.13 million. Xenoblade 3 is 1.81 million, and Bayonetta 3 at 1.04 million. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that's a pretty good number for what is like actually a pretty niche game, right? That is a niche game. And to do 1.8 million, pretty good for that, right?
I need y'all to bump that number a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
You. I mean, that's where I was at with Dread, where it was like struggling to get the 3 million. I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
dude, that should be doing better.
That's a generational game right there. So if y'all ain't on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, listen, there's everyone I've recommended that game to, satisfied customers. I'm out here fucking selling your shit. Like, yo, Monolith, cut the check. Come on now.
I have not.
I'm out here.
Game.
Jesse. Jesse.
Jesse, I think you would like, because I was enjoyed what I played, so I think you would really like it.
I see the homie Cam Koenig in the chat. Satisfied customer right there.
And that's pretty decent for Bayonetta. An action game getting over 1 million. They probably were expecting a little bit more, but that's pretty good for Bayonetta 3.
I was expecting more for Bayonetta 3, but then I didn't even check it out. I forgot it came out last year.
I bought it and then kind of played a little bit and fell off and went to some other stuff on the Switch instead. All right. Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa promises employee pay increase. Furukawa promised a 10% pay raise for Nintendo employees. It said, quote, "It's important for our long-term growth to secure our workforce." Japan's market's pretty weird overall when you try to look at like the way that they pay employees. Pay in that country, I mean, this isn't weird because it's true in the United States as well. Pay in Japan has not gone up for a very long time. But the big difference is the cost of living, which is skyrocketed in the United States, has remained really, really affordable and low in Japan. You can get a lot on the salaries they have there. That is finally beginning to shift a little bit, even though like stuff like housing prices remain pretty steady. Other things are starting to go up in price. And now the workers are getting a little bit antsy, where this has never really been much of an issue before. And we've already heard, I mean, it was like around the time Elden Ring just launched, right? Where we heard from Soft, and I think that their parent company were like, hey, we're going to raise the price or raise what we pay every employee by like 15% across the board. And these companies are recognizing we got to share these profits now while we're flush and have a lot of money, because harder times are coming, and we're going to try to have to keep this talent. Nintendo's come to this as well. And for Nintendo, their entire thing is being able to attract like the best talent in Japan, because a lot of the best talent want to go work for Nintendo, and they should not mess with anything that would actually like, you know, taint that. And if people are like, well, yeah, I can go work for Nintendo, but they're not paying as well, that would be a really rough thing, because their whole future is like, well, Miyamoto doesn't really make the games anymore. He was overseeing mentoring a whole new generation of creators. And so, yeah, you want to go there and be that next generation of creators. And if you're the best of the best, they'll take you. But if you don't want to work there because they're not paying, yeah, that would really mess up Nintendo's future. So this is them sort of getting ahead of that. For the most part, it also stands in pretty stark contrast to people laying people off basically across the industry.
Virtually every industry having to do with tech.
Yep, anything related to tech except for Nintendo. And I think, as far as we could tell, PlayStation has also not laid anybody off, as far as I could tell.
Hey, now PlayStation, Nintendo, hit me up.
Yeah,
let me know what y'all got.
Maybe Sony has, like Sony the wider Sony, but I don't think PlayStation has. That takes us to PlayStation. PlayStation's earnings, the PS5 sales were up big, 7.1 million PS5s shipped in Q3. That's bigger than any Q3 that the PS4 ever had. Now, lifetime, the PS5 is about 5 million behind where the PS4 was at this time. And of course, that's all about the lack of supply. Do you guys think it's going to catch up to that? And how fast do you think it's going to catch up to that?
End of this year.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because they promised that like supply issues will go down come like April or something. And so I think, you know, as more games come out, people are just going to pick up PS5 when they feel like this is the game I want to play on my new console, and it'll just continue to go up and up and up as the year goes on.
Yeah, I think, well, the one thing I'm a little hung up on is that the generational divide between the PS3 and PS4 was like it was a hard cutoff. Like,
Sure.
I mean, there were still cross-generational games, but I think more so now that we're concerned, like it feels like Sony's concerned about, you know, Horizon's on PS4 also. God of War is also on PS4. We're going to see that taper off with like Final Fantasy 16
pretty
being
quick
a PS5
here, right?
exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
But it just depends on what the system seller is going to be. I mean, I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a system seller for sure. I don't know if the fervor is going to be there. Oh, I'm not going to say it's not, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, it's not necessarily on the same level as the PS5, but
PS4, yeah,
or as PS4, sorry,
yeah, no, totally. I know what you mean, because it's like there was a lot of reason, especially when I was like looking back at PS3 games. There were really good PS3 games, but the PS4 just positioned itself as such a must-have. So Bloodborne came out, and from that point forward, it was like, oh, you have to have a PS4. There's too many things that you might miss and have like serious FOMO. And that FOMO, which definitely has moved a lot of PS5s, clearly, is maybe a little bit easier to ignore. But I think there is going to be this huge audience of people that were saying, I'm going to wait until I could see one on a store shelf, and then I'll consider it. And it seems like from now going forward, that is an option. Because someone was saying, I can't remember where this was. Someone said they called around to a bunch of stores in New York. It might have been Tom on Game This Morning on Monday. He was saying he called around to a bunch of stores, and every single one had at least 2 or 3 in the store at the moment. And so, okay, so that's where we're at now. And if they keep shipping them, now that maybe if there's a glut and they're just sitting there, maybe that urgency that people were feeling that has moved so many PS5s does taper off as well. But I think what's more likely to happen is that second wave of people that were refusing to participate in I need to be following Wario 64 to figure out when a drop was going to happen, and was like, I'll just wait for them to come to me. Well, now they're going to come to you. And also there's a bunch of great games, and the promise of PS5 only games, including Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man 2 and a handful of others. And Sony's probably going to have a showcase here pretty soon. That's going to give you a whole bunch of other reasons to buy. I think all that stuff's going to come together, and it's going to sell really, really well, like going forward, continuing to sell well, as well as it has.
I'm curious. Like they haven't really done they've done bundles, but they haven't done like the custom consoles like they have with PlayStation 4. Where it's like, here's the Spider-Man console, here's the Final Fantasy 15 console, the Destiny console. Like, is that just a supply issue, or like, do you think like down the line we're gonna start getting like custom consoles like to package with these big games? Because like I know a lot of people that like buy those custom consoles just to have. They already own a PS4, but they buy.
Yeah, let me tell you about Evo. All I saw at Evo was the Star Wars Battlefront PS4s.
Battlefront PS4s,
everywhere. It was wild.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, I think that will begin happening. Yeah, with the supply constraints and the yield problems for the system on a chip, it was like, let's just get what we have out and focus on that. And now that they have the really solid revision of that system on a chip that's on that new process where they get much better yields, I think they're going to like start looking around. Okay, we've saved a lot of money on the cooling structure. We've saved a lot of money on this stuff. What are the revisions we can make? And as we make those revisions, what are some things we can do to spice up the look and do those tie-ins? They will definitely do that. I think they'll also combine that with an increase in storage, and that'll be sort of the pro stand-in here pretty soon. Maybe not the end of this year, but definitely by next year. There will be some cool design, maybe a complete like visual revision of the system, maybe, but that has twice the amount of storage. And I think that will be kind of a big selling point for them. And I think a lot of people that, were like, yeah, I guess I could just install my own SSD, but just never were going to bite that bullet, because it's like anything that requires that, it's just, they're not going to do it. I think they will buy the bigger system, and then they'll have the secondary one either go in a bedroom or go to a friend or go on Craigslist. And that'll be one of the ways that Sony continues to grow their market share.
Also, we were talking about last week, price increases that have come in other countries that maybe. Oh, this is just me being speculation, but like we'll roll out a new version, we'll raise the price more like to the degree that more than makes up for our revision or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Maybe this is
Totally.
like their entryway to be like, yeah, we're raising the price, but we're also giving you a little bit more.
And we've seen that work with the OLED on the Switch. So
Hell yeah,
it's totally a strategy that works, and that they can get away with. Especially if you're putting a lot more storage in there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, God of War Ragnarok sold 11 million copies in 3 months. That is the other thing here from the PlayStation earnings. That is really impressive. $70 game, right? I think we're looking. There's a lot of stories right now of like games trying to like find their place, live service games, other games that come and fail that are big like launches. God of War Ragnarok was always going to be the special one that's like, no matter the price, no matter how hard the console was to get, people were going to find a way to play this one. Obviously, it's also on PlayStation 4, and that helped. But I still think the majority of people probably bought on PS5. This is really a really good number for a game like that. It's the kind of number that justifies spending all that money on God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, right?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I think you did report on the numbers or like the boost in sales that a game like The Last of Us has had because of the show.
Yes.
I can just see that like after the show is all done and people have like properly digested it, it's taken over the cultural zeitgeist, that being a hefty boost to the numbers as well, especially if PS5s are readily available on shelves. But man, God of War Ragnarok, I forgot that it's available on the PS4. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a PS4 game still in a lot of ways. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that some of the best looking games ever were PS4 games, but that did not hold it back.
I watched my roommate play it on PS4, and it like looks pretty good. Like I was actually pretty impressed, but I could tell every time he booted it up because it's on the other side of my wall, and I would hear the PlayStation 4 jet engine come
Oh my god!
For 3 hours.
All right. Take-Two's earnings. Marvel Midnight Sun was a commercial disappointment. But the hope is it will have a long tail like other Firaxis games. I was just thinking about this game the other day. I'm like, I really want to go back and play that more. I think that that combat system was always a really hard sell for them. Like, oh, it's card-based, and that immediately turned a bunch of people off. And I think most of the audience held that against it, even as it came out and was getting a pretty good critical reception.
Yeah.
And that never really turned around for it.
I think it also came out in a weird time of the year.
That's
as
one
well.
thing they did mention. Yeah.
But it's a really good game, y'all. If you are a fan of Firaxis, the story is similar to like Fire Emblem Engage, can kind of get a little bit, okay, all right, I get what you're saying, calm the fuck down. But like that actual gameplay was super duper solid. The card stuff like stopped being an issue, and like you could still get your tactics on and hang out with Blade.
So the thing about the tactics in that game is they just put you right into the thick of that shit on each match right away. They're like, here is something interesting that you could solve by doing awesome tactics. Go for it. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you play it and you do all this cool stuff, and then you move on to back to the home base or whatever, and then you go back, and then it's another cool tactical situation that just immediately starts. It's like just completely putting you in the middle of the action without any wasted or any filler. That's always a really good thing. And this is like the best I've ever seen that pulled off in a tactical game up to this point. It's worth calling out, but it's just, I don't know, this game always felt like it struggled to find its place, and I think now we can confirm that's the case. Do you guys think there's any truth to that it can have a long tail like other Firaxis games?
I think it's a possibility. Like, I know that the mod scene really took to the XCOM series and really helped boost that up. Maybe that could happen on PC as well, of folks just like, oh, I modded in Batman, it's cool. Stuff like that. I think the issue is there is a whole portion of the Marvel fan base that just doesn't care for games or like this style of game.
It has to be a very specific kind of game, right? It's got to be Spider-Man.
It's got to be Spider-Man. Yeah.
I've said this before that I think, and tactics games have sold well in the past. Obviously Fire Emblem is very, very huge, but I think like turn-based tactics is when you're trying to appeal to a wider, more casual fan base, as in like, hey, we got your favorite Marvel characters in this that you don't see in many other properties. Come hither. And it's like, oh well, tactics, I don't know if that's my jam. It's a little maybe kind of
Tactics
there's a divide.
Yeah, like
maybe that's part of the issue, but mad respect to Midnight Suns.
Yeah, and they might put this on mobile like they've done with a lot of other Firaxis games recently. Civ 6 is on there. But I mean, those games, they usually have charged a pretty high price, and this is going to be sitting right next to Marvel Snap, a very different game.
Right.
But I think the proposition you give to people is like, here's a Marvel game with cards in it. That's about as deep as most people are going to think about it. They're just going to go play the free one that everyone else is playing, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough road to hoe for Marvel's Midnight Suns. Other tidbits here from the Take-Two report. Judas from Ghost Story Games, that's Ken Levine's studio, should launch before March 31st. It's supposed to come out this fiscal year. They've only ever just talked about this, right? Or was this at the Game Awards? They kind of mentioned
revealed at the Game Awards.
It was revealed, yeah.
We got the trailer,
but like what was the trailer? I have no memory of it.
BioShock, but
yeah, they're doing
Judas.
BioShock again.
That's
yeah,
right.
but not called it.
Yeah, that's right. It did look a lot like just like a BioShock. Okay.
I got a question. Who's Judas? Like in the biblical terms, fill me in real quick.
He's two-faced homie of Jesus. He sold him out. He snitched.
So he's the rat.
He's the rat.
He's the rat. He's the snitch.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right, for sure. I got it.
He went and he was one of his apostles and sold him out to a Pontius Pilate. Is that right?
Basically, the Romans.
The Romans in general. Okay.
Yeah.
Just watch
Okay,
The
cool.
Departed. You'll understand.
Yeah,
Hey, Italian
see.
classic right there. Wait, no, that's Irish. Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa. An Italian. You're all right. You're okay.
I corrected
Okay.
myself.
You're okay.
Damn.
You're okay. It's gonna be fun.
I feel like
stuck here, dude.
I gotta go.
I feel like I just slandered both my Irish heritage, but also my good homie Jesse. Never mind.
Strauss Zelnick mentioned that when the results are poor, I take personal responsibility for them. Then, a few sentences later, he basically said that they're planning layoffs. Take-Two is planning layoffs as part of a $50 million slash to its costs. The program includes, and this is a quote, personnel, processes, infrastructure, and other areas, and will primarily focus on corporate and publishing functions. So what they're trying to say there is it's not supposed to affect the development teams. It's going to be like the people that are responsible for publishing the games. Not that, those people don't count as real game developers, but they work on the games too. But yeah, layoffs. This is doesn't feel like an executive taking responsibility, especially when, again, we've mentioned it every week now for the last couple of weeks. There's the example of Iwata taking a pay cut instead of laying anyone off, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the story earlier in the segment with Nintendo trying to increase wages and take care of their employees.
Yep.
Man, it's rough.
Stark contrast, like you said.
And it's not like Take-Two has a game that's made endless money for the last several years, basically sort of running on the same stuff that they've had since they launched it in 2012 or anything like that. That would be weird if they had something like that and then they didn't have enough money lying around to keep paying people.
Those coffers are empty.
Those
They got
coffers
nothing.
are empty. Apex Legends is launching a new season with Team Deathmatch. Excuse me. This is supposed to be the beginning of an Apex Legends sort of launcher idea where, you'll go in there, you play Apex Legends, and that means booting up the Battle Royale. But right next to that, as a completely viable alternative option, is going to be traditional Team Deathmatch. I'm interested in this. I like the characters of Apex Legends. I just don't know if I ever needed that kind of battle royale where it's like a trios. It's really hardcore focused on trios. But I think a team deathmatch makes sense because I feel like the stakes are so much lower. I could just hop in there. What do you guys think?
It's always felt great anytime I fired it up. Pinging system is one of the best systems ever introduced into games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They could also maybe introduce mech combat into it.
That's just terrible news
Like
for
in
you.
Xenoblade.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
Like in Xenoblade, yeah.
Exactly.
You just really got to bond with one of your party members, pull a flute out, and then you're good to go.
And then you can summon a mech that maybe is summoned from this. It falls from the sky. Like that would be sick.
Like a
I don't know
like a
about that.
titan
Very
of
strange.
mechs, and just falls.
You guys are that's crazy talk. I'm
You
not
can
following
ping it
you at
while
all.
it's falling down
Mm.
with this incredible ping system.
Smart.
Well, all that stuff's not going to happen. It's just team deathmatch with the Apex Legends characters.
Nuts.
I hate to see it.
I
I mean, I think it's
I'm gonna
cool.
check it out.
I really liked Arenas. I think Arenas was
yeah.
really cool because it was I fuck with battle royale, but Arenas I play a lot of like Valorant, Counter-Strike. That style of multiplayer is more my jam. So I really liked what Arenas was doing. So maybe this is just an extension of that.
Well, I think part of this is closing down arenas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that? What it was arenas? I never played it.
It was like team based, one life per match kind of thing.
Okay.
You just rounds.
Okay.
You would purchase your guns too, like you would in a Counter-Strike.
Okay, that's right. I remember this now. That's where. Okay, yeah, it was very similar to Counter-Strike. Okay, moving on. There is a graveyard of live service games from the past 2 weeks. I figured we'd go over that a little bit. Knockout City servers are shutting down in June.
I'm sorry, Knockout City. I did.
You said last week, Jan, you were like, "Wow, live service games are shutting down." Shouts out to Knockout City for still being out there.
You did it, Jan. You reminded them that it was still going.
No.
Crossfire X server shut down May 18th. Back for Blood won't receive any new content. Apex Legends Mobile is shuttering May 1st. Battlefield Mobile beta is closing for good. Meta and Ready at Dawn's Echo VR is closing August 1st. Crime Site, a game I don't know what it is closing May 1st.
Crime Site was actually pretty cool. It's too complicated of a game to describe it, but it's one of the only Konami games that have come out.
Okay, damn. And then there was a couple other games that closed down. A few weeks before this that aren't even included here. So it's been a rough time out there. The vibe shift has come for live service games, right? I think the publishers are looking at it as we're going to keep these things going because they could turn into a hit. And I think suddenly they're like, oh, we need to turn off the money hose and be more judicious with the way we're spending our money. And that means no more just trying to fund these things into success. We have to actually see them moving towards success. Otherwise, it's not worth it, right?
It's just one of those things that's impossible to predict because, like, one of the biggest games, I think it's one of the biggest games of last year, was Vampire Survivors. And, like, that's a pretty small team, if not a solo dolo dude doing it. And it just blew up like gangbusters. And a lot of people started picking that up. I don't see EA or any of these other big devs focusing in as like, all right, we got to make something tiny and small.
Right. Like even EA Originals, which was their tiny and small publishing label for indie games where they published fucking Yarny or whatever. They're publishing a Koei Tecmo Monster Hunter clone in the next couple of weeks. That's what that is doing now.
Yeah.
They've completely changed like what that is. But I think a lot of people are seeing this the live service side of these things and be like, okay, well, the publishers have realized the error of their ways. They are going to go back to making regular games that I like, that are games as a product. And I don't really think that's happening here either, right? It just feels like, okay, we tried another new way to change games into a long-term money-making possibility that's much more stable. So yeah, we're not going to be like, well, let's abandon that and go back to this other old way that we always knew was unsustainable. Instead, we're going to try some other new creative way to make more money off of games for a longer period of time, right?
Yeah.
The bubbles burst on, it seems, for live service because there's only so many games that can go around that people are going to pour money and time into. So, I mean, I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but I mean, it's sad when games shut down. And I think it's kind of a consequence of games being online and live services that you just lose out on. Those games just aren't playable anymore, which is unfortunate. I think Knockout City is moving to private servers.
Cool.
Yeah, which is cool.
PC version will get a private server version that people can download and host themselves. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, not that I have any specific attachment to any of the other games, but, you know, from the preservationist side of things, like these just get lost into the ether.
You're just being brave. We know you're a Crossfire X head. We know how close you were to that game.
Couldn't be me, but
yeah, people team every night.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the game with the Baba Yaga? This is the game with the Baba Yaga class, right?
Crossfire, it's the one from Remedy. That's about as much as I know about it. That's
Remedy's doing the single player.
Yeah, they did the single player. Smilegate did the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think it's all shutting down though. I think even like the single player won't work anymore.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, there's only a handful that can go around. Like the traditional MMOs that have found success. I mean, I don't know how well games like what's that Amazon one, New World? I don't know if those are sustaining success at all.
Still see a bunch of friends popping onto that all the time.
I think that live service games clearly are not some guaranteed ticket to making money. Like it is still buying a lotto ticket. It is here. If we actually hit, we're going to hit big. I think the reaction to this being, well, now we're going to go back to standard games. I mean, we could just go back and look at what happened with Marvel's Midnight Suns, right? Sure.
Yeah.
That game is also still competing with live service games. I mean, that's exactly what we're saying. It's got to go up against Marvel Snap. Like in people's heads, I could go spend more time with this free-to-play game that in my head, Marvel cards, that's enough. Or I could spend a bunch of money to find out whether or not I like Marvel's Midnight Suns. And so these smaller games that are not trying to turn into the only game you ever play still are getting crushed under the weight of there being only a handful of games that people play all the time. So yeah, that time is still getting sucked out of the room. So it's like, well, the answer continues not to be make more traditional games either, at least for these companies, at least how they view it. I think, there's some sort of backsliding there where EA has been like, well, we had a lot of success with Star Wars Jedi Order, Fallen Order. We'll do another one of those. We'll have Respawn work on a handful more Star Wars games and all that stuff. But overall, it just seems like these companies are not going to suddenly go back to the way things were. We're not going to get another Midway making, 20 or 30 mid-sized games per year or anything like that.
And as a consumer with live service games, it's like you start to be wary of like where you're putting your money, because like some games will offer you, when they shut down, they offer you a refund, but like sometimes it's like I'm spending $40-$60 over the course of however long with Battle Pass, and say what you want about like, did I get my enjoyment out of the money I spent? Am I okay with that going away? But you start to think a little bit more like, do I want to put money into this thing? Like, is this just going to go away and I'm never going to see this again? Like you start to, especially as this keeps happening, you start to worry a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's only going to like hurt the prospects for live service games going forward.
How is something like Genshin Impact still doing? Are they still like raking it in
massive.
or
I think
so. Massive still
is making money. Them motherfuckers is printing money out there.
Okay.
Holy shit.
All right. Cause I was wondering like, what's like the mobile side of things looking like with service games? And like, Marvel Snap is doing gangbusters, but like how is like something like Genshin Impact? And folks are saying it's still doing great. All right.
Yeah. Genshin's on mobile also. It's PlayStation, mobile, PC, but it runs on a gacha system. So, the Genshin sickos.
Shouts out.
You have to have so much self-control when playing that game.
Yeah.
I got into it for like a brief moment a couple months ago, and I realized like how quickly you can fall down that well when you're just trying to get characters, and like you get a 10 pull and you're like, this feels real good for like 12 seconds, and then it feels real bad when you don't get anything you want, and you're like, do I do it again? Do I drop another 20? And then you're like, and then I was like, I have to uninstall this video game.
The worst part is it's a perfectly fine, good, functional video game.
Yeah.
Jerks.
I love Genshin.
It's a fun TikTok filter.
Yeah, always. Let's move on from the graveyard. I bet we'll be updating that throughout the year, actually. EA, well, I mean, here's another edition, basically, but it doesn't really count because it never even came out. EA canceled Titanfall Legends. This was going to be their single-player content that would have been added into Apex Legends. There was never anything really considered Titanfall 3, which, if you think of that as the sequel to Titanfall 2, that is a standalone game that had a single-player campaign and its own multiplayer. They never even really considered that as a possibility because they knew that would be distracting from the money-making Apex Legends. That is where they were making their money. There was no way they were ever going to mess with that formula by having something that was like, oh, should Apex Legends players be going over to Titanfall? What are we doing here? I would have been fine with that. EA never considered it. The game itself, Titanfall Legends, would have been inspired by Doom Eternal and Hades, according to some documents I got to look at. And boy, I tell you, my stomach dropped when I saw that stuff because that just sounds so cool. The big idea with Doom Eternal is they want to make it press forward combat where it never sit back. You need to engage with every enemy as up close and personal as you can, sometimes even if you don't have a gun. And the game was going to give you all these rewards for doing that, so you would feel as like the most badass ever. And the way that they were going to accomplish that was where the Hades stuff came in, where, okay, yeah, you're going to always have a dash, just like you always have a dash in Hades. But as you unlock more abilities, sometimes that dash could get, and the controls will be exactly the same, but now you'll have a bubble shield that pops over you, just like in Hades. And when you dash through an enemy's fire, that fire will reflect back at them and attack them instead. It's like, oh god, that would be awesome with the way Titanfall played. And if it sounds like, well, that's really cool, why would they cancel this? Well, it's not because the game wasn't a good pitch. Everyone was really impressed by the pitch. Everyone really liked it. The big issues seem to be there's two of them. The one is creative director Mohammed Alavi left the studio about a year ago, and they were never, it seems based on looking on the LinkedIn and a couple other things, that they were never able to really replace him. And a lot of that original talent that started Respawn has left. My guess there is a lot of them got their money and took off. I don't know for sure on that, but just looking at the trends of like when everyone started leaving together, that seems to be the way it is. So the people that would have had the the creative thrust to kind of carry Titanfall forward seem to no longer be at the studio. And then at the same time, as that sort of pushed the timeline out for the game, because this, Mohammed left a year ago, more than that now, things started looking like, well, okay, if we were to go forward with this, if we were able to find someone to step in and take over this project, which has been a challenge, even if we could do that, does adding single player content with whatever business model we could come up with into Apex Legends make sense for Apex Legends today going forward? And it seems like, again, this would be speculating a little bit, that it would not have made sense, because they think that they've mostly moved past the prime of Apex Legends growth. And so the return on investment there won't be there. And so they're like, let's not even try. We're canceling it. And that is the video game business. If it bums you out, it bums me out. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, it's a bummer.
This could have been like working backwards for the Apex dev team, where instead of having a single player game that you have to spin out into a multiplayer game, you have a super successful multiplayer game. You have people that are super tied into the universe. I think there's definitely an appetite from the Apex community to maybe have that single player experience. I don't see it fumbling the bag for Apex Legends as a whole at all. But I guess EA feels that way.
It's disappointing because like there's room for creativity, and there's like so much room in the Apex Legends universe. And when we see it with a lot of the smaller stories that they tell through the seasons in their animations, there's so much potential there where for many years playing Apex, I look at it and be like, this is a rich universe that, and we always think of the Titanfall 2 campaign as being like, this is the new pinnacle of single player FPS.
Yeah.
And then when you say things like borrowing ideas from like Doom Eternal or Hades, like combining that with the momentum or the sort of the speed at which you play something like Apex or Titanfall, like, man, you look at this and it's disappointing for sure.
Now,
go ahead, Jesse, please.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say, like, I think it's weird, the concept that like Apex has peaked, or in that case of like, oh, we kind of missed the ball on this, or missed the boat, because you look at something like the Witcher Netflix series, right, and how revitalized The Witcher 3 became on Steam. It was like one of the yes. top selling games when that show came out. It had a huge peak player base. Like, Apex Legends single player game could garner so much attention and so much excitement that it would then cause the multiplayer to then spike and have some of its best. Like, it's just weird to kind of look at it and be like, I don't know, we missed the boat on this. We're just gonna can it.
You hope it work that way. Like, if you start trying to put together the numbers, though, and let's like the most public recent numbers we got for a big game being developed, and this one definitely sounds like it was bloated, but let's just throw it out there. Callisto Protocol was $160 million to create. Mm-hmm. And so let's say that they could do it for cheaper than that, because the Respawn, they're good at this, they have the talent, whatever. Let's say they could do it for $100 million. That's still like a big number to then be like, and that money needs to be made back by Apex Legends. Now you're just putting this huge burden on Apex Legends that is very easy to say no to if you're a risk-adverse executive at EA, when you don't have a creative head leading it, and everyone looking around like, hey, does anyone want to take over this project? And most people are like, no. I'm still mostly with you. Like, Apex Legends is going to make a lot of money going forward, and you would hope, like, well, if this does well, this is one of the ways you can have it have a new peak going forward. Like, just believe in the game. But that's just not how the games industry works.
Put out an animated Apex Legends show.
Yeah, that's the real thing.
Yeah.
those characters are usually pretty. I mean, they're pretty great. A lot of people really like those characters. So you would hope that would work.
Has Blizzard ever thought? I mean, I'm sure they've thought about this, like an Overwatch show.
It's shocking to me they haven't done it.
Yeah,
like
right.
You look at Arcane, right, and you're like, that was a huge success. How did
Cyberpunk,
Blizzard,
right?
Fumble the bag?
A lot of fumbling. A lot of fumbling.
The two other things here with this is okay. So what's the future of Respawn, and what's the future of the people that have left Respawn? For the people that have left Respawn, we do know about Gravity Well. We don't know what's happening with most of the other people. They've either taken their money and have gone to an island, or they've taken their money and they're using that to fund their lives while they raise money to start new studios. But like Gravity Well was like already working on stuff. That was like the person that was in charge of Titanfall, or one of the people that was like in charge of Titanfall. That you know, Drew. I can't remember his name exactly, but he's like in charge of this new studio. He's probably taken a lot of talent with him. And really what's going to happen is all those ideas, something like, a shooter where, it's inspired by Hades, we're probably still going to see that. It's just going to come from other studios that have spun out of Respawn, which is basically how the video game industry has worked for the last little bit. These studios get started by very talented people. The studio and its IP gets acquired. Those people leave. They start new studios, and they continue making new ideas elsewhere. And that's mostly the system working like it should. Meanwhile, over at Respawn, they are the Star Wars studio now. I mean, people don't want to hear that, I don't think, but that's true. They're working on 3 Star Wars games, and then Apex Legends is continuing to happen. I don't know what else you call that.
The mechs in Star Wars aren't cool.
Yeah, they're not definitely not as cool as Titans. Yeah, no way.
Oh man,
they gotta fall faster.
Yeah,
they gotta fall out of the sky faster.
Also, if I in the future ever say, hey, this game looks like it was inspired by Hades, I don't want to hear shit from you people about quit comparing everything to Hades.
Oh, okay.
Developers have played so much Hades. That's like the one game people, other than like Breath of the Wild and a handful of other things, Hades is the other game that every developer has played and fallen in love with.
I thought you were going to say you don't want to hear nut jokes anymore.
Well, you don't
Hades.
Hades. No.
We just start saying that everything looks like Hades 2 soon, so it'll be okay. You'll have
Were you guys okay during that segment when I was saying Hades so often? Is that why you guys were twitching, Higham and Jan?
Oh, no. One friend of the show, one Mitch Tolkoto, talking about...
we're talking about an Overwatch show.
You can see some special Overwatch videos online, if you know what I'm saying, from some... illicit websites,
or from his own personal C drive.
Let me in the Plex, Mike. Let me in the Plex.
Give me that.
Keeping that on your C drive.
Yeah,
you put it on the D drive.
Yeah,
no.
Hey. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't smiling at the.
You tabbed somewhere else, huh? That's
the boy Mitch was hooking it up.
Tabbing out to those Mitch tabs. All right, last couple of stories here. Some sparse early Wolverine details. I talked about this on Game S Mornings last week. Early word is Wolverine is going for a mature rating.
Is that what you said last week, Grub? Is that what you said?
That's not what I said.
Was it mature?
I said hard.
I almost caught strays because of this.
You were right there. Listen. I did not. My understanding of that, I hadn't heard that terminology used in that way in a very long time because I don't listen to Jesus and Mero. Apparently, they said that all the time. Yeah, apparently they say, that's like because people used to say that all the time back in the day, and I hadn't heard it forever. So I'm like, no, people use that when they're talking about mature movies. For that.
See, like when I heard you, I was like, when I saw that on the run of show, I'm like. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I get what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, movies, because like Wolverine. Okay, yeah, sure,
totally. And then that's not how the internet took it. That is not.
I'm gonna tap out of this one.
I'm putting this on Higham. This is all. You guys contact Higham if you have any questions about this.
Talking about catching strays. Goddamn.
Late 2024 for that game at the earliest. It sounds like they want to try to hit that, which sounds so ambitious because this is the company that's putting out Spider-Man 2 this year. And then to put out Wolverine, I mean, that's 2 different development teams inside of Insomniac, but still, that seems ambitious.
Which one do you feed,
Exactly. Which one you feed after midnight? And then, so 2025 still seems the most likely.
Yeah.
Both dates are being thrown around as a possibility, but I was just surprised to hear late 2024 even under consideration. Then the Coalition canceled its smaller non-Gears project. And also canceled one other thing. So 2 canceled games. Also, they could focus in full on Gears 6. Probably the right move for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it would have been cool to see something new out of the coalition, like the Unreal experts at Xbox. But they did that Matrix demo that was pretty cool. That felt like a good way to get their feet wet. Now they can just go work on Gears 6. And then finally, Dragon Age Dreadwolf details. The info is from gameplay leaks, like actual videos of an alpha. So it's important to keep in mind things could change here. But the combat is apparently similar to God of War 2018 with much improved animation quality, no party control. So you're pretty much just going to be controlling your character and then issuing orders to other characters. It's fully single player, but the planned multiplayer hub is still in the game. That must have just been in the alpha. It is unlikely to release in 2023. What I've continued to hear it would be later this year at the absolute earliest. Which always to me that meant it was not going to come out this year. So that makes sense. Any Dragon Age fans here?
Nah.
Nope.
I respect Dragon Age.
I just respect
Origins... them. Damn, there's a character that look like you. There's a plushie of what's his name, Dorian. He looks just like Jan. Oh, he's so cute.
Dorian.
Almost bought one and sent it to you. The plushie in particular looks like you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see it. I got to get into this game now.
Yeah.
Can he kiss anyone?
I don't know. I didn't make it that deep into Dragon Age. I played Origins. I thought Origins was cool. It had a lot of dope things, but I think Dragon Age just kind of went the way of most BioWare properties do, where they get really into the nitty gritty. They do some interesting things with the first entry, and then it kind of gets funneled into more generic fantasy. And I don't want to say that as like a derogatory thing towards it, but that's just kind of the way it goes. Like, becomes a little bit more mass appeal-y, I guess. In the same way I feel about Mass Effect, where 1 was just like really deep sci-fi type shit. Of course, they're doing a lot of world building. 2 getting really deep into the characters, and 3 feels a little bit more like, all right, let's wrap this thing up in a generic way that can people please, whatever. I feel a little bit similarly to Dragon Age, as 2 has some special things going on, but I know a lot of people are diehard Dragon Age 2 fans.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Freaks out there.
Yeah. It's like
Love and
Far Cry
support
2.
you. Oh,
Yeah, we're on your side.
Yeah, but I kind of tapered off with Inquisition, but I want to see more Dragon Age.
Yeah, I hope they are happy to hear this about the God of War combat. I put out a poll that we'll talk about on Game S Mornings, but most people are just like, yeah, I mean, as long as it's a continuation of that universe and that story and keeps that high quality, the combat's never been the draw. I'm like, okay, cool. I hope you get yours. I hope you're happy with it. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. And of course, alpha gameplay, so all this stuff could have changed.
Yeah.
But Jan, that wraps up the news for me.
Whew.
I'm going to hand the show back over to you.
Well, I'm gonna realize that it needs to air out a little bit. We dipped into the thick of it,
and I'm proud of it.
We collectively stunk it up. It's a mutual funk that is happening with the Bombcast. So we're just gonna.
It's my favorite band.
we're just gonna air it out. Put some we're gonna go double pits to chesty on it just to freshen it up. And we'll see you after a quick break with some emails.
Whopper. Genius.com Whopper song.
Whop. That's some Whopper. Welcome back to the Giant Bombcast, everybody. We were talking too much about Burger King, so I just needed to air these, not grievances, but discussions online. We're talking about the long chicken sandwich. Chicken sandwich tech has evolved. It's the year 2023. Popeyes, they're throwing them out the door now. It's no longer a shortage about chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
But Burger King, I don't like Burger King, right? But they're advancing the chicken sandwich tech.
Why you just gotta be so dismissive?
Well,
sorry, I'm still defensive. I mean, I worked there 20, 30 years ago, and I'm still gotta hold down the brand. I'm sorry.
But they got special chicken sandwiches now. They basically got a chicken parm. Jesse, how do you feel about a chicken parm being readily available?
At Burger King?
Yeah.
Heresy.
How could you? That's the culture permeating America so deep that even Burger King has to bend the knee. That's what that is.
Burger King, my culture is not your costume.
But Jesse, it looks delicious though. Look at the marinara, the par.
Have you ever seen a long chicken in real life? I've never seen a long chicken.
I'm
What
doing
are they?
shit.
If you go to those Overwatch websites that Mike was talking about, then
Yeah.
Whoa, hey, relax.
Hey.
But yo, the long chicken sandwiches. When you got
Oh,
when your parents came home with the long chicken sandwich, you was eating good. That was like top tier right there. But agreed, things have changed. Chicken
The way
has
you
changed.
said that made it sound like, yeah, he really showed your mom a good time when she bought him a long chicken sandwich. It's like, all right, whoa,
listen,
all right.
Let me tell you about how I came into this world. My dad came home with the long chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwiches.
I don't know what has
Oh,
happened to the show. It's just gotten progressively dirtier.
I blame it on
love
like that's
I love
Minotti's
it.
fault. I blame it on Mitch.
Me too.
You remember how chicken fries, or like the concept of chicken fries, just grossed and enticed everyone into
Yeah.
checking
long skinnies. Yeah.
Long chicken.
long
They out there.
chicken. You know, they started selling hot dogs for a hot minute, right? Am I imagining
King?
that?
Oh,
Burger
yeah,
King,
definitely.
yeah.
The
Now
fuck?
that I'd eat.
A Burger King hot dog.
For science, you gotta know.
Yeah, for science. Yo, okay. This is a little insight into my life. Everyone thinks I was a coffee connoisseur straight out the womb, but that's not true. Because my favorite coffee drink for the longest time, R.I.P. to the Mocha Joe from Burger King. I drank that every day.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
We sold
god.
a lot of those. I remember. I'm like, oh yeah, who drinks this? Oh, every single person in a Ford F-150 in the state of Ohio drinks one. All right, let's go.
Oh my god, Mocha Joes were the shit. What I would do to time travel. I wouldn't stop any significant life events from happening or alter that. I would just get another Mocha Joe. Shouts out to Burger King for also continuing the Lenten tradition for having a fish sandwich for all the Catholics out there.
Yep. I'm like, that's one of the ways I keep track of where we are in the year. When I start seeing advertisements for fish sandwiches at Burger King, I'm like, all right, here it is. I guess it's Lent. All right, here we go.
What's the price range on them things? Because I remember McDeezy's used to do fish fillets like $2.50 a piece. Them shits is like I don't know who the fuck is buying fish fillets for like $6 to $7
Guilty
for the
Catholics.
sandwich alone.
My grandma.
I guess. I mean,
Same
you
thing.
juice them. Yeah, I guess
Fish
you
fillet
can
is
juice 'em.
good. It's a good time.
I fuck with fish fillet, but
It's
not
a
for
good time.
$7.
Okay, so the big fish sandwich alone, we're not talking a combo here. It's only 560 calories for your calorie conscious folks.
Okay.
It's $6.79.
It's
It's
not
not-
bring that down a little bit.
If it was a
jump
flat
into that.
5, would you be fine?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
$5 fish long. Sorry, I don't. Long fish sandwich. If the fish sandwich was long, would you feel upset? 'Cause that's like
No,
we're
because
talking about the fish used to be long.
yeah, fish are
Yeah, but
long.
it's natural. But I feel like I want it to be. I'm at Burger King. You should be processing my food a little bit more for my body before I
I'm
consume
more
it.
concerned that the fish fillet is like a perfect square. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a burrito section? What has happened to Burger King?
No, they had those burritos for a long time.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm more interested in the non-burger items from Burger King than I am the actual burgers.
Yeah,
Like
I know you said you would eat the hot dog, Jesse, but I think hot dogs are sacred. They need to be kept at the gas station and the gas station alone. They need to be in their church.
You don't want to eat a Burger King glizzy. You don't want to know what that's like.
BK Glizzy.
Yeah, BK
sounds good.
Glizzy. I mean, listen, I love the sound of it. Of course, I love the sound of it, but that's the
BK
temptation of the
Glizzy.
devil. Keep
Yeah.
it in the church. Keep it in the church. Keep it in the gas station.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that more fast food joints don't do hot dogs. And now I'm thinking, when you bring up gas stations, do gas stations have like lobbyists who try to make sure that fast food restaurants don't encroach on hot dog sales or something? It's like that's our.
I feel like
turf.
they have a built-in sort of lobbying group called Trash Humans. They're just like, man, I don't want to actually do the work of going into a fast food restaurant. What does the
Yeah,
gas station have? I have to get gas, so I'm already
AM,
here.
Listen, AM PM, too much good stuff.
Yeah,
The main
hey,
reason
hey,
that
sheets.
gas stations don't, they can still sell sushi, and fast food hasn't gotten into sushi yet.
Yeah.
Those gas
That's
station
exactly
lobbyists.
right. Yep.
All
we got
right.
a corner in the sushi market.
Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails in. Email if you'd be interested in, this is market research here, if you'd be interested in buying a hot dog from a McDeezy's or a Burger King, maybe a Wendy's. Out of those three, I think I trust Wendy's the most.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Wendy's, like, listen, there's a real shitty company a lot of the time, but they take the food least pretty responsible. I want to put Notley says OPEC. I like the idea of OPEC being out there being like, no, only we get to have hot dogs at gas stations. Like
It's like a package deal. They like earmark like, okay, we have this gas bill. Oil prices like this, we're gonna earmark hot dogs in that shit too.
Yeah,
You're not even
like
touching that.
Franchise mode in Madden. It's like, okay, we're gonna drill this many barrels of oil, this many trillions of barrels of oil, and also the hot dogs are gonna cost 79 cents this quarter. All right, here we go.
Wait, Five Guys sells hot dogs? Man, I think I got it.
Word?
Yeah.
Sonic is where it's at though. Sonic is where the hot dogs are.
Yeah, Sonic and Costco.
Sonics are good. The chili cheese dog at Sonic's is pretty good. I've had the hot dog at Five Guys, and I think that makes me one of the strangest people alive.
I'm gonna join you in this club later today.
Fuck yeah, thank you, Jen.
Oh, I'll go get a hot dog from Five Guys.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
I'll do it.
$8 for a hot dog.
$8 though?
How big is this hot dog?
Is it like a foot long?
Is it
I
a
don't
foot?
think so. I don't think so.
What was the quality?
$5 foot long. Sorry, no, I don't think so.
I guess let's read some emails. Yeah, let's read a hot chicken sandwich, a long chicken sandwich full of emails today. God, it's just that. Man, I think I will go get a hot dog after this. You want to go get a hot dog? You're asleep.
Hey, pick me up.
Dear bombers, this comes. Okay, we'll get everyone. You're on the way too.
Yeah.
This comes
We'll
from
switch to the minivan when you get here.
This comes from Steve in Boston. Dear bombers, going about your normal day, how many owls would you need to see before you thought something was wrong? Steve in Boston. Okay, all right. I've had
That's a good question.
several scout stories that I've wanted to bring up, but then I realized not everyone wants to hear about my cute, adorable dog that is the love of my life. I think the crows have it out for my dog.
Oh no!
I think Scout has angered crows to an extent, and then their whole network of crows have emboldened each other because these
are bars, by the way. Everything you just said is bars. Like you sound like a Tom Waits song.
This is my goal.
Have it out for my dog. Like Keep going. I'm sorry.
Because I take the partner and I take the pup out for a walk. It's near like a little cliffside, looking at the ocean, and then these crows, they weren't hanging out by the side of the cliff just gliding for a while, but they started doing it. And then I'm trying to train the dog to go a little bit off the leash. Take the leash off because I trust her, and then she just bolts for the first crow she sees, and then the next crow just happens to be like gliding ever so slightly off of the edge of the cliff, or my precious little dog might be a little dummy and jump off. And I'm thinking these crows have it out for my puppy.
Yeah.
I might have to fight some crows.
I think a puppy and what's the breed again? I'm sorry, bad at remembering this.
A corgi.
Corgi. I think corgis, and especially a puppy corgi, just naturally looks and runs as if it were wounded. And I think that's going to set off a species like crow, where it's like, we could probably take this thing out. We'd be feasting. We should maybe make this work. And also, crows do talk to each other, right? Basically, that's the whole thing.
That's
they
what
can
I'm saying.
tell each other. Yeah. So I think you might be right. Like one crow told another, and he told two friends, and he told two friends, and now here we are. I'd be careful.
Not many people know this about crows, but the hierarchy, it actually Cheryl Crow is the top,
right?
And
right.
She kind of like disseminates all of the information to the crows. So you might need to go to Cheryl and talk to her about the problems with Scout.
Might have to talk to Shares.
Right. That was what Black Adam was about. He was going to disrupt the hierarchy of crow power. Yeah.
Right. But to answer the emailer's question, Steve in Boston, 2 owls.
2?
I think I'm at 3. I think
Three,
I'm at 3.
I would say
I would
3.
need to see 3 because I'm like 2. It's like those owls are together, and so I saw one. Of course, I saw another. Or maybe it's the same owl. Even if they're different colors, my brain would be like, "You didn't remember the first owl's color well enough, Jeff. Like, come on, let's be real." If I saw 3, I'm like, something's up.
Yeah.
What is like the distance between these 3 owls? Are they perched together? Are they like one's across the street from another?
No, they could be just throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I saw 3 together, I think that reduces my suspicion, right?
Yeah.
Again, they're just hanging out.
Okay. You're thinking like the owls are looking out
Separate.
for you specifically.
Yeah, if I went about my day and I was just doing errands, if I was out running errands and I saw 3 owls across town,
3 separate occasions.
3 separate owls,
Yeah.
3 separate occasions, even the same owl 3 times across town.
That motherfucker's watching.
Yeah, there's something going on. Yeah.
I think 3 is the the right call. However, one, if that owl were to watch me and then turn its head all the way around and stare at me when I walk back, then it's just one.
You done something.
If that owl is like eyeing me down, something's wrong. I did something.
But you ever seen a baby owl?
Terrifying.
Yeah, they have like this phase where they're like just born. They look scary as fuck. Then they have a cute phase, and then they become real owls, and then they're
same here.
Okay.
Yep. Luckily, we're all still in our cute phase.
Yeah.
All right. Next email comes from Jay. They write in. Let me just paste this. Jay from Connecticut writes in, I still have the opening to Africa by Toto stuck in my head. Thanks for that. Jay from Connecticut. Sent from my Verizon Samsung Galaxy smartphone. It's my favorite thing when people write in emails is that they just keep in the sent from my iPhone or sent from my phone.
It's a power play. It's a move. I like it.
I almost replied to a work email yesterday and it appended sent from my iPhone and I panically had to like hit undo. I'm like, okay, cool, we're fine. But that's a power move.
What funny thing could you put a sent from blank instead? Because you can like customize those, right? Those little
those are
stingers.
like email signatures, right?
Yeah. So could you like sent from my T-Mobile sidekick? Do you think that would still play?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, and then I would
Sidekick
respect
every
that
day.
person so much.
I miss it so much.
Hell
From
yeah,
my
I miss the
Nintendo
Sidekick.
3DS.
We really did have it all, and we gave it up. But god damn it, yeah. Sent for my 3DS is pretty good. I like that.
Sent from my long chicken sandwich.
Ooh. Hey yo.
Oh yeah, that one you have to be wary about who you're sending it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't. Oof. Might have to go to HR for that. All right. Let's read maybe two more emails.
If I could ever hack into Jeff Bakalar's phone, I would append it to say "sent from my smart fridge." So look out for that.
Okay. Next email comes from Tom from St. Catharines. What up, Giant Bomb? Why don't physical games come with a digital code insert? I'm one of the last remaining sickos that wants a physical thing on a shelf. Something like 80% of the Blu-rays I buy come with a code to add to a digital library. They don't care if I sell the movie or give it to a friend or whatever, so why do game publishers? Is it just prohibitive cost of entry? I feel like the waters were kind of tested with the co-op codes that games like Far Cry tried in the past, but it never stuck. So what gives? Thanks. Love you. Tom from St. Catharines.
So the idea is that you would buy the game physically, and then you would also get the digital code as well. And then you would take the physical game and go sell it to GameStop and still have that's the reason, right? Because GameStop is like this ongoing thing that wants to sell used games. And the market for used movies is like 75 cents for a Blu-ray, a secondhand Blu-ray. Like that stuff is real low. The infrastructure is just not there in the same way it is for GameStop. So people don't turn in as many movies as they do games. That's the difference.
Yeah.
100%.
I can't think of any other reason as to why other than stopping folks from sharing games.
I just get two games for one. Goddamn.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I buy that shit, turn it around real quick, get the code, download that shit, sell
Also,
it back.
They don't
for
even want to
same
put
price. Come on now.
And it's like a one-page instruction manual in there, right? Like they don't want to put that in there. They're like, well, we're not even going to feel like it's not worth the paper we printed on just so you could have an extra function. No, screw you.
Do what Jean-Luc does for our library is on any stray discs, we make our own boxes. So you buy the same color of the case. Then you print out really high quality version of the box art and then just slip that thing right in, put it on the shelf.
Really low, shitty quality versions and like a really low quality JPEG and just make your collection look real cursed. I would like that even more, I think.
I would discolor it on purpose so it looks like it was sitting on a Blockbuster shelf for 10 years.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
All right. Last two emails. This one is about a class action lawsuit, thankfully not levied against us. Derek from Ottawa. Dear Giant Bomb friends, it finally happened. My big class action lawsuit settlement has come in and I'm cashing out. Apparently, Tim Hortons was collecting GPS data from their app or something. And there was a national class action lawsuit against them. After years of courtroom drama, the settlement has finally been handled out. 1 free coffee and 1 free pastry
Oh
have
my
been
God.
automatically added to everyone's Tim Hortons account. What a time to be alive.
Hell yeah.
Woo! What's the most ridiculous class action lawsuit you've ever been a part of? And if you had to settle a lawsuit with food, what food would you choose? Thank you, Derek from Ottawa.
This reminds me of the most baller lawsuit settlement in the history of the world, which was done by a corporation called Nintendo.
Oh.
Which when they had to settle, they're like,
the
what
gloves?
if we just it was this is older than that. I think it was they were preventing people from it was something to do with like them locking down the entire industry and being kind of evil. But their way that they solved it was, what if we gave every single one of our customers a $5 coupon to go spend on our games? And so they're like, okay. And basically what that did is it just gave people a reason to go give Nintendo more money. And so Nintendo found a way to turn it into marketing for them. And that's what this sounds like.
That's
where,
hustling.
you get 1 free coffee, 1 free pastry. So you have to, if you deleted the app, you need to re-download it, sign back into your account. So that's one win for Tim Hortons. And the other one, you got to go show up and actually get this. And who's just going to get the 1 free coffee and the 1 free pastry? Oh, honey, I'm going to go get my free stuff. Well, get me something too.
Yeah.
Like this is marketing for Tim Hortons. Which I've always said, the Nintendo of Canada. 100%.
Flip that L, turn into a W.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you know? Tim Hortons' name's not Tim.
What the fuck?
It's Miles.
What?
Ooh,
Is
Miles
he a goalie?
Horton.
Wasn't he a goalie?
Yeah, Miles Horton. Cold-blooded.
Miles
Let me tell you.
Horton. Wow.
How could they do this to us?
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to go
Tim.
to...
And apparently he was also American and an educator. This is not the same guy. Never mind. Sorry.
Just talking about different people out here.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Miles Horton. That's tough.
I was in like a class action lawsuit with Uber. And then I was rewarded $5 because it was something they wanted to give to all their drivers. But that's only because I signed up to become a driver and never did any of the following work to actually do one. Never gave a ride to anyone, but I was still awarded that $5. So there you go.
All right.
I think Nvidia had some shit. I think I bought like a GTX 970. Was it a different model? But I think there was something about how it didn't tap into all the VRAM in the video card, and there was a class action lawsuit about that. And I think I got like $30 out of it or some shit.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Or
For a
$3.
class action?
I don't know where the decimal was.
Very different. Very
I think I
different.
got a Red Bull settlement or something, like an energy drink settlement. That happened once. It was like $2. Those. It's always weird when those checks show up in the mail. I don't think I've ever cashed one.
I think I was part of 2 class actions that I remember. One, it was that Ticketmaster one that was like an absolute nightmare, where they were like, "Oh, something went on. Here's like a list of free tickets you have options to," but like they all sold out like super fast because like everybody was trying to get tickets to the same like 7 shows that they were offering. All of them weren't that great, and then it was like, "Well, we'll figure it out," and then I never followed up on it. And then the second one was as a kid, I used to use Old Spice deodorant.
Hell yeah.
And they had a class action because it was like people were getting like chemical burns on their under their arms. And I think the settlement was like they were going to send me a bunch of Old Spice products, and I was like, I'm not using this product anymore. I very quickly switched from that. But those are the only 2 I remember.
Man. Aluminium, the oldest spice. That's right, sign guy Bubsy.
I was waiting to make an oldest Spice joke as one. I couldn't think of it. Thank you, Jan, for being here. God.
I just read a comment. I'm just going to take all the credit.
There we go.
All right. Last email comes in from, oh, no, I forgot to include your name. So I apologize, dear emailer. But they write in, hey, Bombcast, just listened to an episode where Mike Minotti was talking about a tier list he did for Overwatch. Have you guys ever made tier lists? I would love to watch you guys rank some stuff. What are your S tier horror games? Cheers. Michael, I think I know what you're going to say.
If you want to watch Extra Life 2022, we did some. We got some hefty donations for some tier lists.
Pretty sure that what you guys did qualifies as racketeering.
I was going to say, I think that's as close to Rico as you can get.
I know how to beat
with Rico.
I know how to beat the Rico allegations, man. Do it for charity. You're good. Yeah, we do some tier lists.
Shouts out to Tangela White.
Tangela White. Yo,
Jail.
No, I'm gonna
Jail.
Oh no.
There's this.
Oh no, I don't know where this is going. I know where this is going.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Wait, what did you say, Jeff?
I said pull the plug.
Oh, pull the plug. Okay, never mind. Oh, you're saying something else. Never mind. I think I know what you're talking about though. There's a screenshot going around, and I looked the video, and it was very educational. It was very tier lists.
Tier lists are very fun. Tier lists.
Podcast between four men turns into deranged inside joke for I'm sorry, it's the Onion headline there. Yeah. What tier lists?
They're very fun. They are very fun.
We've talked about doing more of them, and we wanted. I know Tam for a long time was saying, "Hey, we should be doing tier lists." I'm like, yeah, let's do some tier lists, and then it's like hard to get everyone together at the same time, but we will do some. I think they're great, and the reason that they work right is they make everyone mad, and that's just engagement. That's engagement, baby, and I love it because I can't be wrong. These are my opinions, and they are just objectively true and correct.
I think one of the ideas we had was do a tier list for Naruto characters, and it'd be even better because so much of the staff, other than Am and I and Grub to an extent, are familiar with the Naruto universe. So it'd be great to have like Dan say, the Sasuke guy, I think he's a D.
Just hates the way he looks. He's gonna make all of them D though if they're Naruto characters.
Yeah.
Naruto.
Oh man, I can never say it.
Jason Naruto.
For charity one year, I tier listed every single Pokemon, like all nine. Like this was before Scarvi, so it was like 900 and something.
That's a long time, my guy.
People got real mad. At me.
Yes, sir.
Because I got some wild Pokemon takes, and so
okay, all right. Who's on? Did you go like S down, or is it A is top?
No, S is top.
S is top. Okay, what was that? What was that in S, if you remember?
Comfy, obviously the best Pokemon. Primarina, obviously best Pokemon. Espeon, obviously best Pokemon.
Okay.
I think Dragapult ended up there. That wasn't my choice. I put Chandelure up there for my boy Cam Koenig. Toxapeck was up there.
Toxapeck,
A+ Pokemon.
Where's Rowlet?
Oh, Rowlet was like in the trash can or something. No, I think Rowlet was like B.
Like this guy's gonna be on your couch next week.
Oh, Klefki S tier, easy.
Trubbish.
Trubbish was okay. Trubbish was like in the middle.
Okay.
Alolan
better
Muck,
than Rowlet for sure.
S-tier. Yeah, easily better.
Ooh, Grub, I'm gonna need the children to do a Kirby TV show tier list.
Oh yeah, we can make that happen. They haven't moved on. They discovered weird YouTube videos that retell each game with like weird Gary's Mod animations, and
shit.
Escargoon appears in all of them, and I'm like watching them, and these kids have never laughed so much in their life. They are cracking up. This is comedy to them. And then, of course, I'm like across the room, like making them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I just hear King DD go, fuck, and I'm like, oh no! I swear all the time around him, but it's weird when it's King DD swearing. Yeah, then they're gonna think it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say like, you should probably keep an eye over their shoulder as they watch that.
I do all the time. That's why I heard it. It's the only time he did it. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. But for the most part, those episodes are actually pretty fun stuff. I need to find out what that is and actually shout that out. But I will get them on there. We'll make some TikToks with them ranking some of these Kirby characters. That sounds like a good time.
Yes, that's right. Hell yeah. And that about does it for our emails with these three other males and myself. Jeff Grubb, thank you as always.
Thanks, Jan. That was a good time.
It's always a great time. I love leaving a Tuesday with a stupid smile on my face. Thank you, big thank you to the two boys, Jesse Vitelli, Michael Higham.
Hey.
Jesse, Michael, where can the folks find you on the internet?
Jesse, go.
Okay. You can find my writing at primagames.com, where we do guides and reviews and other fun stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Jesse Vitelli. If you find Mama Vitelli, you found the right place. On the weekends, you can find me on the Broadway show Some Like It Hot, where I pick things up and put them down behind the stage.
Ooh.
Sometimes you get a peek of me if you're sitting in the right spot. You can see me on the sides. You shouldn't, but you could. And that's about it,
I think we're actually closer, Grub, to maybe getting a Tony rather than an Emmy.
Yeah.
We got Jesse, we got Alex.
Multiple points of attack for a Tony, which is
Tony,
I think the key to getting a Tony. Yeah.
I can get you all
also
to see
Jesse's Italian, so he can also teach us how to say it.
Tony.
See
it's
that
actually
wrist
named
action?
after Tony Soprano. It's the Tony Soprano Awards.
Right, of course.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Jesse.
Oh, greatest hit. Now I get it. Okay. This is Fascination to hit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We could turn.
No, you
pull
got
the
it.
plug.
No.
Pull the plug.
I was with you. I was with you.
Grub is learning too quickly.
Yeah.
And you can find me and all of my bullshit at Michael P. Higham on Twitter. And peep my review of Hi-Fi Rush on IGN. 9 out of 10. It is an amazing game, according to
That's
that.
good review.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I got some things lined up for various websites, so keep an eye out for that. Follow me on Twitter, where you can I'm answering questions, bullshit, talking about Pinot, anime. You know the vibes.
You definitely know the vibes, and you can catch more vibes next week on the Giant Bomb cast. The rest of this week on giantbomb.com. We've got your regular programming as per usual. Grub did the unbeatable or unthinkable and beat Mike Tyson himself. So he's coming after Dan's times now. We also got Blight Club. I'm sorry, Grub. I'm sorry.
Well, Grubsy 3D will end eventually. I don't know when. I don't know when. Last 2 levels, and boy, they just keep getting worse and longer and worse and the longer and worse and longer.
Just like chicken sandwiches at
Just
Burger
like
King.
chicken sandwich.
Unprofessional Fridays, Game Mess mornings, and Friday night forking on Thursday. And we'll see you guys next week for more of the Giant Bombcast. And I'm going to hit the music now. Mics are still hot. Just think about that.
We should sell a bong in the store called Alex Bong Yellow.
I'm sure he'd be fine with that. This is where the credits would go. We need to re-record that. And thanks to Jeff Grubb. Thanks to me. Thanks to Jesse. Thanks to Michael Higham. And thank you at home.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Michael.
Here's a kiss on the cheek and then a slow kiss on the mouth as we slowly get closer to each other. That's right. Asmer me, Daddy. Asmer.